Oh,
God damn it!
I'm half of Jesse apparently. There we go.
Hello, everybody. TV is not here. No.
If that wasn't already incredibly obvious.
Jesse, you're muted. You're muted. I think you're muted or we're muted.
Hi, everyone.
Muted.
What'd I tell you? I just got done explaining it's not going to be perfect. Have you ever tried to run one of these? It's very difficult.
It's very hard. Jesse and I both have run these.
These aren't easy things. These aren't easy things to run. I'm over here like explaining, wow, how much I love that intro, and I'm like, yeah, we had such a good time, and now everything. F it. It doesn't matter. Hi, everyone. Welcome to the Co-Optional Podcast. It is that time where TB's not here, and we are going to desperately try to give you a show that you can watch and not be ashamed of.
Impossible.
I know. I'm aware.
It's already the best show of 2018.
It really, yeah, it really is. Thank you. Thank you to our guests, Sinvicta and Mathas, for joining us today.
Hello.
Hello.
Hi, guys.
Thanks for having me.
Round of applause.
Yeah. Seal of approval.
I like it.
Oh,
Good.
goodness. Yeah, I am thrilled to be hosting and trying my hardest not to screw this up. It already happened, so what the hell is there to lose? Let's get into it.
It's kind of like when you finally stain your new couch, and you're like, thank God.
Yeah.
Yeah.
When like if you get a new car, your car gets like effed up in some way, so you just gotta. You can only be that guy who's like, I take care of my car Eventually, you're gonna get a scratch, and at that point, F it. Next comes rust, then comes marriage, then comes spark plugs and a baby carriage.
I want to know why the first thought was a stained couch. Why couldn't it have been like a scratched CD
Dodger
or
stains
like?
couches. She's known for staining couches.
Because isn't that like a common metaphor for that?
Oh my God,
Because
the girl
people used to
pees on couches.
Because people used to put plastic on their couches, and then everybody was like, "Oh, well, if you just like barely fuck it up, then you can just live your goddamn life and stop sitting on plastic, right?"
Yeah, of course.
Isn't that where?
But then it won't stay in mint condition though.
Yeah, all that resale value of your couch.
Yeah, just think of that. You could resell it. Come on now.
You guys are like the same. You're the same people who bought Star Wars Episode 1 action figures and are just like, one day they're gonna be worth something.
Yeah.
You wait.
Like
Yeah, one day there'll be a currency. It'll be a cryptocurrency for just Star Wars action figures.
Just gonna go through.
Yeah,
the
but
I'm gonna hold
I
on
don't
to
know if
the.
you know, but Ryan Northern Lion has like the market corner on Kiadi Mundi figures.
Yeah, he's got like I think 3,000 Kiadi Mundi.
Here's the thing, though.
Action figures now.
They aren't even worth $3,000. You can't even get $1 for each of those. I don't know why he's buying them.
No, he
fans
gets
are sending them.
Yeah, they send it. It started off as a meme because the Kiadi, the figure that people send him is like it's supposed to be a 3D hologram of Kiadi Mundi from Star Wars, but it's literally just an unpainted blue plastic. Like he thinks that people are just trying to skimp out for not wanting to paint it, so it sort of became a meme in its own right. So now, like every time him and Kate get fan mail, they send him just a ton of Kiadi Mundis, and they're all blue and they're all not painted and terrible.
Yeah, of course.
what a good life.
Yeah.
Must be nice to be Northern
Living
Lion.
his best life.
Jesus Christ, I've never been more jealous.
I'm gonna disagree. I want to know where you store 3,000 action
I'll tell
figures.
you, the garbage can.
The garbage can. He throws them away.
If anybody thinks he's keeping those, they fooled themselves.
Oh my God, it's perfect. Wow. Okay. God, we have a real podcast to do today, so I guess we should talk about games and stuff we played.
Sure.
What have you guys been playing this week? Sinvicta, you've been playing a lot of I don't know, what the hell do you do exactly?
Go on.
I usually ride off the coattails of my more popular friends like Jesse Cox and MathasGames for Heroes of the Storm.
Oof, you made a terrible choice. There are so many other people you could have and should have picked.
Oh shit! Yeah, all three of you guys play Heroes, don't you?
I'm the only one who plays out of the three of us because we have our own little chat on Skype saying, "Hey, let's do some Team LE games," and everyone just ghosts me for like three weeks. And then when finally we
Oh my
played,
god, it's like those text messages where you're like, why don't you ever respond to me? I do.
yeah,
No, you don't. I have proof. It's just
Yeah.
And it says like read, like I've read the text, but it's like, no.
it's seriously the last 8 messages are Sinvicta saying, "Hey guys, games today. Hey, anyone from games today? Hey, I need games today." And then finally, Mathas is like, yesterday, 2 days ago, he was like, "Yeah, I can do a game after give me like 10 minutes or whatever to eat." At 8:44 p.m.
Are you just putting
Here we
Mathas
are.
on blast right now?
I am putting him on blast.
He is.
Because when we finally played, the games were terrible, and I don't know why he's going to be posting those games.
Oh my god,
Because I need backlog for PAX out.
It was awful.
So let me just tell you why I can't play this game. I just can't do it anymore. The other day I was playing and I was just like, just trying to get this terrible
Were you gonna say minding your own business? Is that what you were
I was gonna say minding my own business.
I was leaning on my own.
Laning on your own.
I was trying to get this.
minding my own business?
I gave up because I didn't want to deal with it anymore. But there was like a winter mount. Like you get a mount, and it's like you had to win 5 games. And I was like, all right, well, 5 games shouldn't be too hard to win. I must have gone like 0-8, and I got to the salt levels were at a point where it was just like, let me give you an example of one of the games. I get into the game. I'm like, okay, I guess I have a thing to be a warrior, so I guess I'll be Sonya and like run in there and do some shit. Everyone else on my team, I think one was a bot. I think one was like a person who literally, I tweeted about it because I was so mad. I was like, please, everyone report this person. Literally just fed. And then when we called the person out, we were like, what are you doing? Replied, I've been doing this for like 150 levels. Blizzard doesn't give a shit. Ha ha. And I was like,
It's actually true. Unfortunately,
I was furious. I was so mad. I was like, well, I'm done for another month.
I have a question.
Yeah.
Couldn't you avoid that by playing with your good friends Sinvicta and Mathas?
No, because we played last night. Me and Sinvicta played 4 games last night. 2 out of the 4 games that we had bots in them. And one of them, at the last 5 minutes, the guy came back and was worse than he was when the bot was the one controlling his character.
Oh, no.
And then the other game was Ana, and it was the best Ana we've ever seen play Ana before, and it was just an AI.
Who knew that solo support Ana could actually work only in the hands of the elite AI in Here's the Storm? Because solo support Anas are terrible.
Can't trust humans anymore, guys.
You can't.
You know more about what's going on with the game right now than I will ever. Have they already initiated that thing where it like match makes you properly?
Yeah, that was disabled after like a day and a half.
Okay, no, I was wondering because I thought it was in, and I've been playing with people who genuinely are like all trolls and terrible. And a wave washed over me when I was playing. I was like,
Is this how they see me?
Yes. Oh my god, I felt bad.
They flagged Jesse's account.
I felt
Probably,
terrible.
yeah.
I genuinely felt like
trolled.
shit. I felt like I was the worst player who ever. I was just like,
Obviously, the first thought that came to your mind was, how does my good friend Sinvicta do this for not only his YouTube content, but in solo queue all the time?
oh, I asked that a while ago, and
I know.
much
The answer is, I don't know why.
Answer.
yeah, much like the question, why are we here? I figured there was no real answer to that one. So,
So, anyway, I've been playing Here's the Storm. New hero came out today. Also,
Who is it?
it's the Firebat. His name is Blaze, which they've retconned into some sort of StarCraft legacy hero that was been there from the start.
It's like Probius.
Yeah,
All
just
right.
like Probius. Probius was the savior of Ire, or whatever they said. But yeah, he just came out. I haven't got a chance to play him yet. Been hitting.
Laser.
It's Blaze, not Laser.
Laser.
I would love it if there was a skin for Firebat eventually that was just the player Firebat. And people were like, what the fuck? Make myself look like a normal person?
Yeah, it's just his character. It's just cell shaded. Yeah.
I
Or they
kinda
do.
give them a dank weed skin.
Yeah.
Oh, of course, Mathas will
I
bring
would
up the
wear that.
weed skin. God, Mathas, you can't talk 2 seconds without bringing your.
You know me.
Yeah, bringing in the paraphernalia.
I love
This guy.
to be elite. Well, it's legal here, but still, I love to smoke.
This guy and his hippie lettuce.
You heard him. You heard him right there. Everyone
I
take that
love
out of
to smoke.
context. I love to smoke.
Yep, clip that. Path of Exile expansion, freaking awesome. And unfortunately, I got back into Summoner's War as of yesterday, which I've been enjoying. But yeah, been fun. And I played games with Mathas, and it was terrible.
Yep.
No.
I actively try to avoid you until I need backlog.
Exactly. This is what happens when you're a lower tier YouTuber. You just kind of like, you get used. I'm like a used Subway Kleenex.
What?
I don't know.
What?
A used Subway.
Subway Kleenex?
Either from the sub restaurant or from like the transportation. I
was gonna say, I'm curious if you mean like I've wiped away a tasty sandwich, or if you mean I blew my nose because there might be fumes down here.
Well, I just got done blowing my nose with a Subway napkin, so the analogies seem to fit.
Whoa!
It's all come full circle now.
Yeah, it's all together.
That's the kind of content you can expect from Sinvicta.
No.
And Isaac, of course. Can never stop playing Isaac.
All right, well, Sinvicta, you've eaten a Subway sandwich. So, Mathas, what have you done lately?
Not much in terms of like game stuff. I've been playing a lot of Subnautica. Subnautica is coming out of early access this month in like 2 weeks.
Pitch it to us.
Subnautica is an underwater survival game with an actual storyline. So it's not just kind of let loose in a world to just survive as long as you can. It's an alien world where your spaceship crashes, and it's an all-water world. And you quickly learn that the aliens there, or the alien species, are all infected with the disease. And through story, you learn there's an ancient alien race that quarantined this entire planet, and now you're stuck on it, and you're trying to get off of it while also curing yourself of this bizarre disease. And it actually ties into the lore of Natural Selection 2, which I had. It's the same developer who did Natural Selection 2. And it's actually a prequel to the lore of Natural Selection 2, but it's an amazing survival game. It takes that whole idea of survival, those run-of-the-mill survival games where you're just trying to survive as long as you can, and actually puts a fun twist of putting it underwater and also making it like have a storyline, which is really nice.
Nope.
Jesse, you would not. You would hate this game because it's a horror game without actually being a horror game because of all the deeper you go into the planet, into the deeper the ocean you go, the bigger and scarier the creatures get. And they do a really good job at giving that water effect of like, did I see something really far in the distance? I can't tell. Hang on.
That sounds like a game that Jesse would really hate.
They would love.
And you can hear like the echo of a really large creature roaring in the distance, but you have to go over that way. And you can see this thing maybe kind of coming in and out of the murkiness. And there are things that will just murder you.
Sounds terrible. It sounds like the devs really wasted their time. Just terrible game. Terrible waste of money and time. Sounds like. Is
it actually out now, or is it still in early access?
January 23rd is its launch date. So right now, the storyline's complete. Everything's finished. It's all just polishing, basically, at this point. The game has been kind of quote unquote complete for about a month now, and it's one of the I'd consider like one of the early access success stories of all the early access games that are out there. It's kind of like Long Dark in that regard. Where early access was put to good use, and it looks like it's going to be a great game when it comes out.
Cool. In terms of like what other survival game would you liken it to in terms of how it plays?
See, it's pretty. I would consider it casual survival because you're managing your hunger and your thirst, but you're not managing much else other than that. So other than then you're building your own base and all this stuff, I'm trying to think. I wouldn't compare it to anything like Long Dark where it's really intense and you're kind of managing your calories and your body heat and all that stuff. The fact that you're only managing your hunger and your thirst, I don't know.
But there's also crafting, so maybe like
so there's also base building, and you're building like there's like a line of progression that you're building better and better and better gear and equipment to get you through the game. So we're building something like a little sea glide, so you just kind of helps you traverse later. And in the late game, you have this gigantic submarine that you can dock one of your smaller submarines in, and you kind of feel unstoppable, which is really cool. And that line of progression takes probably about 20 hours or so. It's great. It's a great game. I don't know what I would compare it to, honestly, but it's a phenomenal game. And I would definitely, if you're into that kind of genre, I would highly suggest picking it up. It's super good.
Cool.
Other than that, casually, just kind of like off-camera stuff. I've been plugging through like Doom 2016 because I never got through it, so I'm finally diving into that. I'm like halfway through that. Nice. I'm trying to give myself excuses to go back and play through games that I haven't. Okami HD, I've been playing on stream. which
I still haven't touched that, but
it's gorgeous. It's really pretty. I mean, I played it back in the PS2 when it came out, and it just the PC port works wonderfully, and the controller is recognized easily, thank God, and it's as good as I remember it being. That game is great. And then other than that, not much, just kind of my normal YouTube stuff that I've been rolling through. Unfortunately, like a lot of like off-camera casual stuff I haven't really had a lot of time to play through. So that's about it.
Yeah. I've mostly just played The Air Billions, to be honest. Because I've been away.
Game. I'll say that I love that game. It's a little basic right now, but I like the concept.
I enjoy it a lot. Yeah. I felt like it's definitely one of those games where every time I tried, I visibly did way better. It's one of those learn by failing sort of games for sure. And it's really, really fun. As a viewer, it's really, really fun to go and look at people who are playing it on because I can't beat it at like 16%, right? And there are people who are like, all right, guys, I think it's finally time that we tackle 300%. And I'm like,
120 was the highest I got.
Show me. So yeah, that game is really great. For anybody who doesn't know what it is, it's listed as an RTS, but there's a pause, and it's mostly like a base defense sort of a game.
Yeah.
You do want to think about expanding and all of that kind of stuff, but the way that it's managed is really interesting because everything has like a radius to it. So say that, there's a bunch of trees nearby your base and you're like, sick, I can get a sawmill down super fast. You don't have to worry about the trees ever going away. There isn't a limit to that resource. But what you do have to think about is that you can't just put a bunch of sawmills right next to each other. You can put down a sawmill and then be like, all right, so I need another sawmill pretty far away from that sawmill. Right. So even though you need these resources and you can constantly get them from the places that are around your base, eventually it's not going to be enough to sustain everything that you have that's built and the sort of things that you need to build later on. So yeah, I think that it's really interesting that way. I don't know that I've played another game that's like that, but this also isn't really my genre. So
it's also a really hard lesson in minimap awareness.
Well,
yeah,
that game hammers it home. Like one zombie sneaks by and is like wailing away at one of your tents without you paying attention, and it's game over.
I have one major problem with as someone who's played RTSs since the original StarCraft and Command and Conquer. I hate the fact that you cannot see through the environment. That was something that I tweeted to the devs. Like, environmental transparency is a big problem in that game because I like Mathas just said, I'm all for punishing not having any minimap awareness, but the two biggest issues I have with their billions are, and I've tested for a while now, you cannot zoom in on the minimap, which is almost inconceivable. You can zoom in and move around and stuff, but you can't actually increase the field of view, get like closer on the minimap because they're hell bent on showing the entire map. And the biggest thing for me is just environmental transparency, because there are maps that you will never see if there's a hex that's actually covered, because it's being obstructed by like a cliff or a tree or something. And that, for me, being super old school RTS, like that's a deal breaker until they add something like that. I tried. I put like 30, 40 hours into the game, and I'm like, every time you lose a base because you didn't know that something wasn't blocked off and there's no way to actually rotate the camera. Yeah, that's, especially when you're on harder difficulty too, that's frustrating as hell. So I hope that they implement something like that. In an otherwise stellar game, the music is fantastic. The mechanics need a little bit of tuning as far as the responsiveness. It's not up to StarCraft 2 levels yet, but I hope that the the responsiveness of the microing and all that stuff gets tweaked a little bit. But I really think that they seriously need to address the environmental transparency thing, or at least give us the option to, because that's the biggest problem I've got. And otherwise, like I said, good game.
Yeah, there have been a couple of times where the voice will say, I don't remember what they actually say in the game, but something akin to, hey, a fucking zombie's trying to get in your base, right? And it'll ping where it's at, and I'll go over there and be like, I don't see anything. And then it turns out that they were behind a weird part of the my barrier, and I just couldn't see them, and they were just chilling back there like.
So the only
I couldn't see them.
The only way you can actually see them is if you hold Alt to show and this would be something else that if they just want to be lazy about it, you could just say always show enemy health bars. So at least you can see.
Alt would show health bars. That blew my mind the first time that I watched somebody. I was like, you can show health bars.
Yeah, that's
awesome.
That's the only way to compensate for not being able to see through trees and stuff. But other than that, you shouldn't have to do that, especially when your build order and the positioning of buildings is so important. Like it's almost inconceivable that they don't have transparency there.
It's interesting because watching more like high level players, some people do a lot of microing, and it's really fun to watch, and some people never micro at all, and I'm just like, it's crazy. There are people who play this game in such completely different ways right now.
Yep, you can exploit the enemy AI by taking a ranger and have the whole group aggro to that ranger, and then just run it around it while you have your firing squad lined up and stuff. It's neat. It's like I said, good game with a couple flaws, but hopefully they address them.
I haven't played it at all.
You would hate the game, Jesse. You would not like it.
I like tower defense games, but I don't know.
It's more RTS than tower defense.
Yeah, I heard that you have to the whole min-maxing micromanagement aspect of it is really important, which to me sounds like poopy.
Yeah, if you don't like playing traditional RTSs for whatever reason, you're not going to like their billions. You can play on casual mode and probably have a lot of fun with it, but there's still a fair amount of base building and microing that you need to do in the early games, especially.
Yeah, I've been trying to get Sam to try it out because he likes the really old RTSs.
Yeah.
You would probably love this because there isn't a bunch of shit that flies and whatever. You don't have to worry about that.
Yeah, I think Sam would really like that if you can get him away from VR chat.
God, it's impossible.
I just imagine sick at your house, but plugged in, laying in bed, being like, I'm still playing.
I swear, guys, he's very sick, but he's resting, and he's just in bed with the VR headset.
Yeah,
he's reconstructed that
IV
table.
drip.
Yeah. He's got the chair from the Matrix, and it's just plugged into the back of his head, but it's actually just like a holster for the VR set.
Right.
I can see Sam doing that.
Just committing way too hard.
Dude, that game's been going crazy, man. I don't understand. I don't understand the appeal of it. I don't understand what it is. Yeah,
it seems oddly, despite the viewership on it, it seems like it's pretty divisive. Like either you find it really funny or you're like, I don't get this.
Well,
I don't get this at all.
It is exactly what the internet is, right? It's like the internet. Either you find it really funny or you're like, what is going on? And that is the vast majority of that. Every time I watch, I'm like, well, that was humorous. I don't know that I ever want to be a part of that, but that was pretty funny what I saw.
Yeah.
There's also
some great clips, but
yeah, I was just going to say, I feel like it's also an act of just sticking with it to get to the good shit, right? You have so many moments that are just nothing really happening, like kind of garbage, and then something really funny happens, and it makes it feel like it's all worth it, you know?
Soviet Knuckles in a tank is like the clip that I love.
Holy shit, the Knuckles crew is the big
thing right now, yeah.
Yeah, I saw that on Twitter. I guess I didn't catch that clip. But most of the humor, if not all of it, is derived from people just role playing, right?
Mm.
They're just role, because I watched Dyrus and Sam play, and like there was someone who was doing a fairly decent Hank Hill impersonation. You actually had the Hank Hill character, but to me, I feel
totally commit to their characters, really make it. I think.
Okay, so it's like half like our peers, half just people just hanging out.
Yeah, it's just weird. It's like weird. If you think weird stuff is hilarious, then it is hilarious. And if you're like, well, what the hell is going on? You'll never get it. It's just a bizarre. It's the internet, man. It's the internet.
The follow-up question is like, it does it have? Is it I guess it's the same appeal of like the GTA role-playing community, like Grand Theft Auto online community,
right?
Where it's just everyone's they just make their own wacky character, except this is just in VR.
But there's like gameplay mechanics in GTA is a thing.
Yeah, and also VR chat like the longer that people mess with it and figure out how to port in weirder and weirder stuff, like the sky's kind of the limit with VR chat right now. People are learning how to do really bizarre shit.
And this is why that movie Ready Player One is stupid, because everything in that trailer is like very serious. If that movie starts and there isn't like a bunch of Knuckles like, show us the way. He's like, welcome to the future. It's a shit show. Every time I log in to play this game and solve this riddle to find a treasure or whatever the hell it's about, I gotta deal with these assholes who are like, brother, show me the way. Show me the way. Do you know the way? That'd be amazing if that was the movie. But no, instead like, it's like people dancing and like going to parties and very serious and having a good time. That should not be the case at all.
That's because everybody who's in that game has a terrible life, and so they're able to live a normal life.
You think people who are logging into VR chat don't have terrible lives?
I was saying that exact same line.
Oh my god, they must have the worst life if they're like, brother, show me the way. show me the way, brother. There's no way that they like. That is the perfect example of like, I'm gonna make everyone else miserable. Show me the way. Hey. No, terrible.
I wonder how long it takes for someone to like say, hey, don't use our character in this game. As you're like, if Mike Judge for whatever reason was like, don't use Hank Hill anymore. I wonder if anyone's going to get to that
a lot of those ones are pre-ported into the game. You don't have to port them in yourselves. They like come with the game. So I assume that all of that, because it's by the same people who made what's that other garbage meme creator? Gary's Mod.
Gary's Mod. There you go.
I was going to say PUBG or something like that. I don't know.
Same people who made Gary's Mod. So they like had enough success behind them already that maybe they were able to be like, hey, we just want to let people run around as SpongeBob. You cool with that?
Yeah, I mean, it's
maybe not. Maybe they were like, fuck it.
It's a very like stream friendly game. It's a game where who knows what'll happen, and so because everyone on the internet to some extent has that like, I want my 15 seconds of fame, and so if they see a streamer, they know they can get on the stream and be like, show me the way. Show me the way. And everyone's like, oh, they got it. So hilarious. Funny. Yeah. And, you know, it's not to say it's not funny. There's a lot of stuff that is funny. It's just, you know, designed for stream. And all right,
well,
that's cool.
People keep being like, what's to stop this game from getting banned? Because it's basically virtual Second Life, and Second Life is banned because it's turned into a cyber sex machine, right?
And that's why I only play Second Life.
Has anything like that happened yet? Has anyone imported anything lewd or?
Oh, I'm sure
of course. And there are people that run around saying like racial slurs all over the place, right? So what they have to do is you have to, if you're streaming, you have to only be in private rooms, because otherwise.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah.
But you can also do that in Second Life. So I think it's going to be. It's gonna have to do with whether or not they pitch it properly as like, no, there are ways to protect against this stuff happening, and immediately ban people who, you know, go against that stuff. And the Face Punch is the creators. Face Punch, I guess, is taking it really seriously because they know that what's going to make their game popular, and what has made their game popular so far is streaming. So they're taking moderation of it really, really seriously.
That's good.
I think smart. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, that's good. Is it a free game? It is or is not?
Yeah.
Oh, it is? Okay. I wasn't sure by the sound you made. It was like it was the most amazing.
It was a contemplative like, is it free? Once you play it, are you free?
Yeah, I know. I was like, I don't know if we're getting philosophical or not. I'm not sure.
Oh, they're saying Face Punch didn't make VR chat. I fucked up.
It's what happened. He's not here. He's not here to correct you.
Damn it, Dodger. You're supposed to be the most experienced out of the group now. You're the only person who has connections with VR chat. Come on.
What?
Now.
Yeah, you're the only one.
The developer of VR chat is VR Chat Inc.
Well, there you go.
Of course.
Jesse has admitted that he's watched the streams, which is more than I've done.
I haven't watched the streams. I've seen clips. I would never sit through a stream to see something funny. I'll wait till someone uploads a clip onto like Twitter so I can watch the 10 or 15 seconds and be like, well, that was interesting. And then that's it.
and then you'll just incessantly repeat it over and over again while we're recording something.
I never have the time to watch any streams.
The Steam reviews of this are phenomenal.
Oh God, I can't even imagine what do they say.
All right, the first one, first day of VR chat. Watch 2 giant anime girls make out. Almost got abducted by a gang of tiny Hatsune Mikus. Met a perverted Morty who went around shoving his face into anime titties while screaming, "Aw, geez." Met a guy that was tripping on acid while playing with VR and couldn't stand up. Saw a businessman that was crawling underneath anime girl avatars to look up their skirts while making fapping noises. 10 out of 10. Immersive experience.
Wait, holy shit. But the idea of somebody playing this in VR and being super fucked up is really funny.
He can't stand up.
Stand up, dude. I can't.
What's real? What's real?
The funniest clips from VR chat to me are the ones where the person, you can see somebody visibly like collapse like that. The physical humor is way funnier to me than any of the jokes that are happening in there.
I guess Sam was playing with Ross. He showed me a clip. He was playing with Ross or someone, and they couldn't figure out how to stand. And so their character was just like crumpled on the ground, and he's just like, I can't get up. I can't figure out how to stand up. It was great. So.
That's great.
I think it was because they have like hip receptors now that you can get, right? And I think they like put hip receptors on or something, and then it made them literally receptors. They have, because everybody wants to be able to gesture more, right? So they're like, there's things you can put on your feet.
You want to know how dangerous this is getting? I'm going to tell you how dangerous this is. The other day we were recording Scary Game Squad. We're upstairs. Sam now has the headset on, multiple controllers for his hands and his feet. And he is like, we walk by and we see him like gesturing, whatever. And we go inside to record, and all of a sudden we hear the loudest bang we've ever heard in our life. And then we hear like a scream and a yelp, and apparently Sam, gesturing, punched a wall and like cut his hand or some shit. And, like, was just bleeding everywhere. And he's like, I'm fine. I just messed up my hand a little. We're like...
He punched his Artorias figure, and he actually broke part of it, and he's been really depressed about it.
I can't tell if that's depressing or hilarious.
I feel so bad every time I go
hilarious.
in staring at it like... It's really sad.
Maybe VR. He can rebuild it. He can rebuild it back in VR. Then he doesn't have to be depressed.
He can become Artorias in VR.
Yeah, there you go. He could become it there.
Then he broke the controller. Oh my God. People are reporting in. If you know any more terrible Sam stories in which he destroys something while trying to VR, let me know. The more the better. The more I learn about the horrors of VR, I'm gonna wait. I'm gonna wait for my holodeck. Until then, good luck beta testing, everyone.
The holodeck is going to be a beta. Oh, no, you're talking about the holodeck from Star Trek, not the HoloLens that I was thinking about.
Yeah,
from Microsoft.
No, the holodeck.
Oh, yeah,
the whole deck.
The HoloLens, they're like they're not utilizing for games anymore. They want it to be like a medical thing, right?
Maybe.
Yeah, maybe
all I remember from the
HoloLens,
like the Minecraft thing they showed off a couple years ago.
Oh God, yeah, that was a long time ago when they showed that.
Yeah, that's when I did the Halo experience where like you put it on and then Jennifer Hale in a Halo outfit talks to you and you're like, what the hell? And then it was cool because you went through a ship, and then if you looked out the windows you could see space and stuff and like a hangar bay. But
that's cool.
The HoloLens, even though it's AR, the AR space is like this in front of you.
Isn't it like super tiny?
It was real. So you had to look directly ahead of you. If you looked anywhere else, it was normal. And so there would be moments where you'd be like, oh, awesome. And you'd move a little bit and it'd vanish. And you're like, cool.
Did Jesse, did you watch? I finally started watching Black Mirror, and I've only watched a couple of episodes.
God, I can't.
Have you seen season 4, episode 1? Episode 1 of the newest season.
Oh my God, I have. Oh, the fake Star Trek episode.
The holodeck one. Yeah, it made me think of you.
Here's the thing. I love that episode. That was like one of my favorite episodes of the entire show. No spoils on it at all. I will simply say, yeah, I understand. I probably would do that. I'd probably do that.
Don't say that!
I'm not gonna lie. If I had a holodeck, I'd probably do what happened in that episode. For sure. Oh, yeah.
No spoils.
No spoils. But I definitely do that.
But knowing Jesse, that limits what he's talking about. There could be like 3 or 4 things.
I have a feeling I know what Jesse's talking about. And I don't even know what the show's about.
I definitely do that.
Black Mirror is like it's like a plausible Twilight Zone where every
Black
episode
Mirror is this. Oh, it's a Black Mirror.
It's sadness, the show.
Every episode is based on the like rapid advancement of technology and where it could go. And yeah, almost
never good.
Horribly depressing.
It's never a good place.
My favorite, it's an old one. It might be the very first episode of the first season. I don't remember what it was. It's old.
Please don't say that. That episode's the worst. It made me never want to watch it again.
Which episode is that?
The pig episode.
Oh no, not the pig effing episode.
I was gonna be like, that's your favorite episode.
No, the episode where
I could see myself doing that.
The episode with Bryce Dallas Howard, who it's the future where everyone is rated in an app, and everyone is so obsessed with being rated properly and like being above a 4. And if you're like, I think it was like if you're above a 4, you get like all these societal benefits because everyone like loves you. And only like the most beautiful people are above a 4, and everyone like kisses everyone's ass, and everyone's like, "Oh, you look so amazing today." And they try to make sure they give everyone like 5 stars and shit. That is 100% like, I love that episode because the moral of it is so good. The end of it, I'm just like, fuck yeah, it's great. Hashtag.
That sounds really interesting.
Oh, season 3, episode 1. Is that what it is? Yeah, Nosedive is the name of that episode. It's a phenomenal plot. I love the premise, and she's like trying to move into this apartment, but she needs to be above a 3, I think. And in order to get on a plane, you have to be like above a 2, like crazy shit. And so everyone is just like swiping, at, like kissing everyone's ass, and it's basically about like the worst day of this woman's life and how it just, and it's so good. Yeah.
It sounds uplifting and very inspiring. So,
dude, you cannot watch Black Mirror.
Oh no, nothing about Black Mirror. There's like 2 episodes that have happy endings. Other than that,
it's
most
all
of it is really miserable and depressing.
Yeah.
But yeah, Nosedive as an episode, there's a lady in it, this old lady who shows up that's just like, I want to live this lady's life. And so yeah, I love that shit. But so Black Mirror's terrifying.
Is it just like the Twilight Zone, the old school Twilight Zone? Is just different actors like, and different stories every episode? Okay.
Yep.
That's pretty cool.
There's like a thing with John Hamm that's a really good arc, and one of the, like each episode's different, but one of the seasons has like a weird ongoing thing through it. I can't remember. I need to watch it again.
Somebody in my chat a couple days ago was saying that every episode takes place in the same universe.
Interesting.
Oh, really?
I think it's something like that. Like all of this technology is either existing at the same time or in the same universe. So it's like either earlier technology or later technology of the same world. But maybe that was just one season.
No, yeah, I think God, was that season 2? It's the one with John Hamm in it. And because the Christmas special is the wrap up. And I just can't remember which one it was. Maybe it's season 3.
I think you just put talking about Black Mirror. It's spooky.
It's spooky.
I got 3 episodes in the first season. And I had to put the show down.
Oh.
I'm just one of those dudes that just is like I understand. I can see the expert craftsmanship and how like it's kind of just a masterpiece of television. But for me, I'm very easily put into one mood or another, and that show crashes me for an entire day. And I'm just like, I can't put myself in that headspace for too long. So I was like, I get it. I'm not watching any more of this show.
I've been watching one episode at a time.
Yeah, that's probably the only way I could do it. But the last episode I watched was one where like everybody lives in like this one tower and they get a chance to go on this talent
Oh,
TV
the effed up talent show episode where everyone watches TV all the time.
Yeah, and they're like running and like on like this machine to gain points, and they use points to buy themselves things or.
Oh yeah. Terrible.
That sounds like an anime.
A really sad anime.
Yeah, like an ultra depressing anime.
Yeah. Black Mirror.
So what have you been playing, Jesse?
Me?
Yeah, Jesse.
Man.
An hour later.
I gotta change the thing. What are we talking about? We're gonna talk about this game. So I have been playing in my spare time. I just finished it a few days ago. This game called Gorogoa.
Heard nothing but good things about it.
Yeah, I heard good.
Fantastic.
What a bizarre, fun game. So it literally, imagine the screen you're looking at right now where there's 4 quadrants. And you move stuff you move images in between the 4 quadrants. And as you do, you unlock other images, or you can go further into the image you're in, and then you manipulate them and combine images and move certain parts of images to, if there's a doorway, maybe you take that image and overlay it onto the boy so the boy can walk through the doorway to get to another area. It's crazy. The moments of what that you have in that game are insane.
I don't know if you're able to show footage on your end, Jesse, but the trailer, I think, does a really good job of giving you an idea of what
able to show. God damn it! Everyone making me show footage. Am I able to show footage? Sure, maybe,
possibly.
Look, this
maybe I don't know.
I'm gonna make a valiant effort to do this.
Yeah, that game. It was not very long, but it was gorgeous. Such a gorgeous game.
I think it was Ryan. It was either Ryan or Austin who said that, or maybe it was Bear who said that that game was pretty interesting. It sounded neat.
Bear Nick really loved it.
Was it Bear? Okay, yeah.
I'm gonna attempt to do this. God help us. This is gonna be wild.
It's the best of the worst of the week.
That's the thing. All right, so yeah, there it is.
Way, right?
There's gotta be from Gorogoa just to show you a little thing.
That's just
I
the
don't
guide.
know if you can hear it, but I'm gonna mute it.
Oh, hey, yeah, there we go.
But
I can see it.
Yeah, but if you go through it, you go further into the actual footage, and then it's oh, shit's moving. That's crazy. What a weird. Oh, there's a dragon face, and oh my god! And then you move the apple over the eye, and now you have an apple, and the apple falls into a thing, and it's pretty cool. It's a very
really neat,
bizarre, fun-looking game. Yeah.
Oh yeah, there's that little cutout in that piece. I just saw it. Yeah.
Yeah, it's so.
That's
cool.
interesting.
That game is really fun.
I like the games that sort of think out of the box like that. It's really cool.
Is it pretty heavily stored? There a cool story that goes along with it, or is it mostly just a puzzle game?
It's like a mystery story. There's a story that goes along with it, and it unveils itself to you as you play. But in the beginning, there's definitely gonna be a lot of what the hell is happening right now, because it appears like you're looking at the same boy but through different periods of time, and
Sorry.
No, go for it.
I was gonna say, at the beginning, as this little boy, you're basically in a world that looks very normal, and then there's this gigantic multicolor monster that you see right at the very beginning, and then the game kind of plays out from there, and you're not sure, you're not entirely sure, like Jesse said, you're not entirely sure what it is that you're doing or trying to do.
Right.
But it's really cool. Yeah.
It's only $15 too. Sweet.
Yeah, it's a short game, but it's definitely one of those ones that it's not a tremendously difficult puzzle game, but there are puzzles where when you figure it out, you're because it's not just overlapping. Sometimes if you put 2 pictures beside each other, they start to something happens where you realize oh my god, that picture is connected to that picture, and they're the same scene, but from different angles. You didn't realize it till you put them next to each other. It's very cool. There's a lot of cool stuff in that game.
I can see your face getting so excited when you actually solve it. I can just picture Jesse's face.
I was there's a lot of moments where I was like, fuck. Yeah.
That's the face.
2.5 hours, 3 hours long, something like that.
That was the face.
Is it on mobile too? Because I got a plane ride coming up tomorrow, so maybe I'll play it.
I don't think so.
No.
Let me check.
I'm gonna go on my phone right now and see if I can find it.
I would assume not.
Yeah, it doesn't look like it. At least not on Android.
It is on iOS.
Oh, okay. Yeah, not.
If you have an iPad or something, it's
there's a million free Gorogoa guides on Android, but that's about it.
Sick.
I will see if it's on the iTunes store for you, Mathas. Just so I can download it and you can't.
Wow.
Fine.
Wow, that's why he doesn't want to play with you. Shit.
Right.
Right, he's not going to play anyway. He's just going to go eat dinner for 34 hours or whatever it was.
Yeah, actually, he was at a feast. Maybe he was at a feast.
It was a hero's feast.
You can't actually get it on iPhone. Apparently, it's $5.
Maybe he was at a feast.
Yeah, Dodger said that.
It's just trying to reaffirm.
Also on Switch.
It's on the Switch. Oh,
on the Switch. That's pretty neat.
That's what chat says.
If you're looking for specifically a phone game, I think that this is on both iOS and Android, but Reigns Her Majesty is really good.
Oh yeah, I played that on PC. I enjoyed it. I got one of the 3 endings, and I was like, I'm good after that.
Yeah, I got one of the endings, and now it's more just like kind of a casual, like, let's see if I can unlock other shit.
Can I ask you a question? Like, Dodger, did you play the original Reigns?
Mm-hmm.
Did it have so when the dog shows up, that's all I'll say in the original Reigns. When the dog shows up,
yeah.
Did the game like get as effing crazy as when the like goddess woman shows up?
No.
In Reigns Her Majesty?
No.
Okay. All right. Because I thought literally it bugged out. I was like, the fuck is wrong with my game?
That's the point.
Yeah. Reigns Her Majesty is much more of a meta game than original Reigns was. Original Reigns had like small moments that were fourth wall breaking, but it wasn't like not to that extent.
Once you fix the owl in Reigns Her Majesty, it gets pretty meta pretty quick.
Yeah.
All right. Yeah, because I was like, what the hell? And I remembered playing Reigns and the dog. I was like, oh, well, this is going to be clever and fun. But it still seemed very much like a game where you are the lord of the land, like that kind of. And this one was just like, what the fuck is happening right now?
Yeah, no, there's a lot of that. I actually found some interesting, cool things in like Reigns Her Majesty. Like when you're about to die, because everybody dies. If it's one of the person's like about to kill you, if you have a pistol and you challenge him to a duel, he'll just go away and you'll get another chance at not dying.
Yeah. Also, if you have the gun that can kill the king, and the king is like, what have you done? This thing is about to happen, and then you just kill the king, then it resets, and everybody's like, holy shit, you killed the king, and you're like, that's right, motherfucker. Yeah, there's a lot of stuff you can do to get out of those situations.
Yeah.
I'm not a fan of the fact that 90% of the time I die, it's like, everyone loved you when they kissed you to death. And I'm like, what? Why were they allowed in the palace to kiss me to death? Did they all run through a wave of people?
You always get your social thing like maxed out, and then they trample you with love.
Yes,
that happens every time.
It gets
90% of the time.
The thing about Reigns, like the Reigns games, is once you understand the language of the game, though, it's actually kind of easy to last a long time. Because whatever raises religion lowers your social popularity. Whatever raises social popularity lowers your religion.
The problem with this one,
religion and your army also are
balanced. Yeah.
The problem with this one, unlike original Reigns, is that I sometimes can't tell what the outcome is going to be. Because you're like, oh, okay, it affects something, and I'm like, oh man, clearly this decision is going to piss off the church. Good, I need to lower that faction really quick. And I click it, and it's like, church loves you. I'm like, what? Why would they love this? I'm talking to like an old god or some shit. Why would they be like, church is okay with it? Like, what?
It also, the one that always tripped me up is, and I don't remember if it was this way in Reigns, but in Reigns Her Majesty, the people really love drama. So like, if you have an opportunity to do something that's going to cause a lot of drama and everybody else is going to be upset, sometimes the people are like, hell yeah, more.
Yeah.
Bang more people. It's so funny.
There's so many opportunities to be like, yeah, I love you. All right, I'll date you. All right, yeah, I'll date you too. All right, yeah, you're pretty hot. I'll date you. One
of the achievements is to have 4 affairs going on at the same time, and I've been trying to do it for so long. Every time somebody's like, hey, you and me, I'm like, yes, next. Yes, next. And I always die before I'm able to get that 4th boner. It's not fair.
I love how you just casually like, that fourth boner.
Look,
I always die before I'm able to get that 4th.
I always die before I can get that.
This is going to be a clip show. We already have one for Mathas and Jesse. Now we got one for Duger.
Yeah.
I try. I got to keep
Happy New Year, everyone.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, Happy New Year. Happy 2018.
Woo! It's been really cold.
Is this the first? Are you in the East Coast?
Yeah, it's really fucking cold over here in the East Coast.
I'm in Texas.
Here in Texas, it's cold for you. It's been like, there have been nights that it hits negative 25 over here.
Isn't there like a... Sam was reading about like an ice cyclone or something crazy.
It's a bomb cyclone.
It's the Bombogenesis that hit us. It was a winter storm that hit.
What? Hold on. No. Hold on. Sci-fi guy. The Bombogenesis. Don't you see? Hold on. Wait, I need like head ridges. Like, don't you see, Kirk? The Bombogenesis will defeat you. It's true.
That was my favorite dance from the 90s, the Bombogenesis.
Yeah, we got hit by basically a winter cyclone, more or less, that smacked us for like a day, but ushered in cold weather for like 2 fucking weeks of just like negative, like highs of 9, lows of like 25, 30, wind chill of like minus like 40. It's ridiculous out here. If you want a story for those who care about cats out in the wild, I've been trying to rescue this fucking cat for like 2 weeks that I saw at like 1 a.m. Maya snapped up and like saw something walking outside, and I was like, "What the hell is that?" It's like weird black lump. It's like crawling around, and it was a cat licking the pavement for food. And I was just like, my heart fucking broke. So I got a crate, filled it with hay, got a bowl of food and water, a heating pad out there, and he comes by a couple times a day to eat and drink. And I got one of those have a heart humane traps, and he's triggered it twice without being caught.
But he always gets away.
He always gets away.
He's like Garfield. Have you put lasagna in there? He's like
I put tuna in there, and he goes in and somehow he gets the food, but triggers the trap and still gets away. You can see his little footprints and shit.
Are you sure there's really a cat and it's not a cat ghost?
Look, that'd be bomb if it was a cat ghost, though. Dude, Jesse, I know you've mentioned in passing, I have ghost hunting gear. Let's do a show.
Oh my God. I'd love to go ghost hunting.
Let's do it.
But
gotta go to Oregon.
We all have to be the tropes. Like, all right, so if we're the ghost hunters, Mathas, you're the techie guy. You're like, don't
I got
worry,
all the gear.
I've got the newest triangulate-magator 1200. And Dodger, you're the one who's like, oh, jeez, I don't know if we should go in there. Oh,
I can do that. Yeah.
Yep. And Sinvicta, you're the guy who's like, well, historical records of this building show me that in 1972, 15 people died. And I don't know about that. And then I get to be the guy who's like, come fight me, ghost. There's a ghost in here.
Those are always the best clips from ghost hunter shows. Just people like, fuck you, ghost.
And he's in an empty room.
There's a ghost in here. You'll fucking fight me. Come on,
what?
Ghost?
You demon? You're a bitch. You heard me? You're a bitch.
It reminds me of that South Park episode where they parody that. Like there's something warm and something liquid going down my leg right now. Make sure you get a shot of that. Get a shot of that.
It's like, hold up. I think something. Can you guys check my back? I felt scratches.
Yeah. It sounds like
pulls up his shirt.
It sounded something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I can totally see you doing that, Mathas.
Good.
I'm still a weird fan of the paranormal garbage. Let's go.
Well,
I'm down.
We found out that Oregon has the most ghost towns per capita.
Per capita.
So,
we could go to a ghost town and film a show in the ghost town.
Are you kidding me? That would make such a good. The ghost stuff is hot on the algorithm right now.
Oh no! Oh no!
I'm just saying, it would do really well on YouTube.
It only took 58 minutes to start talking about the algorithm.
No.
But no, the only type of ghost stuff that people want to see though is where there's no people there. They want to see clips where it's like, here's an Irish high school, and what happens next you won't believe, and then all of the backpacks get blown away from the wall, and you're like, what the fuck? They don't want us. They just want the ghosts.
Yeah. Here's the worst possible camera on earth shooting the darkest video ever, but somehow it's gone viral.
You have to have thought of that though, Jesse, like a Scary Game Squad ghost hunting special.
Yeah, I thought you guys were going to do something like that a couple years ago.
The problem is, how do you convince some of the scaredest people on planet Earth to go with you to a place? Like, Davis is not. He doesn't want to do VR. He's afraid of VR. So like, I don't know. I don't know that it will happen. I want it to. I like the Queen Mary's just down the road. We literally could go spend the night in the Queen Mary and just
come on.
It's right down the road. We could.
I'll go with you. I will go with. I'll volunteer. I'll fly out there and I'll fucking do it.
To just put people up in that hotel and be like, ghosts, are they real? And then at the end be like, no, the answer is definitely no. We wasted our time.
It emphatically, yeah.
There's in San Antonio, the Emily Morgan Hotel is supposedly super haunted. I stayed there twice and nothing happened.
Is that the hotel that the Rough Riders used to be at?
It's right near the Alamo is all I know.
Yes, that's the hotel Dodger and I went to. Dodger, when we filmed our show, the haunted hotel where the Rough Riders were like formed, we stayed in that hotel, and I remember
really nice hotel.
It's very nice, but like an old hotel.
Yeah.
And I remember Angry Joe and I trying to film like a ghost, like a spooky ghost thing for this video, and we set up this entire ploy where Dodger was going to be in the room with other Joe.
Me and other Joe. You
guys were going ghost hunting because that was like your bit. And so Joe and I, because we really wanted to freak you guys out, literally went in, set the alarm on the clock to go off 5 minutes after you guys had entered the room. Then we set the TV. So the TV, if we took the remote and went outside, so we turned the TV on and off. Here's the thing. None of that happened. The alarm didn't go off.
Literally none of
TV,
it worked,
we closed the door. The TV signal would not happen. I feel like if there was a ghost, the ghost was like, got him, roasted these guys. There was no ghost. We were so disappointed. We tried so hard to scare you guys and nothing happened. It was the biggest letdown. We were like, why did the alarm go off? It sucked.
I think it's so sort of you have to be in the right mind frame to get scared in order to be scared. I think that's where most of the scary game squad sort of excels at, because you're already going into those games that you guys play just completely. Well, I mean, drinking probably helps as well, but I always love hearing Jesse freak out.
Drunk in this office.
Yeah. Well, I mean, the older episodes. Yeah. Where'd you guys record those anyway? I thought that was over at Davis's house or something. Or
there's an office upstairs.
Is that where you guys recorded everything?
Yeah,
I didn't know that.
It's upstairs. Yeah. There's a couch we sit on and we hold each other's knees and we play scary games. The problem is lately scary games have not been. They've been like two. We just played through. Oh my god! You know what? We'll talk about it after the break. Okay. I have things to say, but yeah, we're gonna take a little break. We'll be back in a little bit. Live your lives, live your dreams. Don't let your dreams become memes. I'm trying to figure out how to shut off the volume of this. All right, we'll be back in a little bit, guys. Thanks and enjoy.
Goddamn shirts. Is this...
Hello, everybody. Welcome back. We're back.
Oh,
How's
hey,
it
we're
going?
back.
Yeah, you're back.
We're back.
My goodness. Let's talk more games, shall we?
Yes.
Let's discuss things. Let's do the old text on the bottom of the screen. Awesome. So, oh my god.
What was the game you were going to talk about?
So we, this past week, speaking of Scary Game Squad, played the Resident Evil DLC. And what a crazy turn that DLC took. So if you've ever played Resident Evil as a franchise, you know over the course of the franchise it went from more like spooks and more to there's a gun and now you can shoot 50 demons in the head or whatever.
Cheesy B-action movies.
Yes. Mm-hmm. So over the course of Resident Evil 7, you had Resident Evil 7, which by itself is a phenomenal game.
It was so good.
Yeah, then you had the first DLC chunk, which was, you played one, which was an escape room, which was totally awesome. You were like in an escape room, you had to figure out a way to get out. Like, what a creative use of the horror mechanic. Then the other was a card game, where like, you had to wager and bet, and like, if you didn't, you died, or the guy across from you died, but it was terrifying. It was insane. The next batch of DLC is more like Resident Evil 6. So the first DLC you're playing as Chris Redfield, and so you expect some campiness, and Chris Redfield would have a shotgun and like punch guys in the face, and that's pretty much what it is. It's super fun and campy and weird and silly. I kind of was like, all right, I'm down with that.
Because the actual Resident Evil 7 game is serious, right?
Oh, very serious.
It's still got campiness to it, but it's like old school Resident Evil campiness where it's more horror than it is campy.
But it's like first person, and it has that terrifying vibe of you have weapons, but you're always under ammoed. Yeah. You are being chased by things that, you think you know how to kill them, and then something will change, and then they're like even harder to, like, that kind of shit. It reminds you of old Resident Evil. The vibe is so good, you're like happy it's back. It has nothing to do with the Resident Evil saga until like the very, very end, and you're like,
no boulder punching while fighting Wesker in a volcano.
Well, the Chris Redfield one is like, there's a few moments where you're like, if Chris can punch a boulder, he can punch this, and you're like, oh, all right, this is gonna be hilarious. And it is very fun and campy and silly, and it wraps up one of the storylines with one of the characters from the main story who didn't have an ending. You're like, cool, all right, understandable. But then the next DLC, it's called like End of Zoe. We just called it Zone of Enders. But like literally, Zoe is during the course of the game, you are chasing, like the original Resident Evil, you're chasing down your wife, but at the same time you're interacting with this girl Zoe, who's the daughter of the family, who's not infected. Or if she is infected, it's very like not happening to her immediately. Right. And so you eventually have a choice to make in the game, whether you save Zoe or you save your wife, right? That's the big choice. And so canonically, in this DLC, you've chosen your wife. And so in this case, it's Zoe's story and what happens after she stays behind, right? And so in what I assume is Japan being Japan, everyone in this franchise, in Resident Evil 7, when they get taken over by virus, or I guess this like crazy plague monster shit, they become molded, which are like these terrifying like black goop things with crazy teeth, and they're like, eh. Zoe turns into a beautiful crystallized anime girl who looks like Shiva from Final Fantasy.
She turned into like sexy anime monster. Damn it.
They show Zoe before. I can't wait to upload these videos, guys. You have no clue. They show Zoe before. They give you like a little flashback, like previously, and they show Zoe, and she looks like just like a southern girl who'd live out in the bayou who just has had a few rough years. Cut to Crystal powers. She's gorgeous. Like she is. It's like, fuck it. Crystal's doing her wonders. She changes completely. She becomes a completely different character. Like, and then she's like frozen solid, and you're like, wait, what the fuck is going on? Then you're introduced entirely to a new character, Jack Baker from the original game, his brother, who is like a Marine who lives out in the woods, eats bugs, and does not use weapons. You know what he uses? Just his fists.
Oh, no.
And so the entire game, you're running around punching the monsters that you had to kill with shotguns before.
And like multiple shotgun shots.
Oh my god, he is like destroying dudes, just punching everyone.
The power of the military.
The whole DLC, the hour and a half or 2 hours it is just punching to save a crystal girl, and it's insane. And it definitely it tore the Scary Game Squad apart, because Gerard and Davis loved the concept, and they were like, I'm going to say getting into it too aggressively. They were like, yeah! You're like, screw it. And Alex and I are like, what the fuck is going on? Like, we're so out. We're like, this is the dumbest effing thing we've ever seen. And I think
it sounds like it's like if Capcom was a drug addict and they come back with Resident Evil, like, we're clean, we've gone to rehab, we're good.
Yes.
And then you go away for 4 months, and you come back and they're in the corner being like, don't look! Don't look!
It was like, we created this amazing game. Also, remember Resident Evil 6? Wasn't that fun? Like, that's what this vibe was. It's insane. What an insane game this thing was. And even then, when you beat it, because you're expecting to get, like, resolution and have everything tie into, like, the Resident Evil franchise, and everything makes sense. And when you beat it, even then you're just like, what?
So I went back to fucking old Capcom Resident Evil garbage.
Just goofy, wacky Resident Evil.
And it hit me, and when the video uploads, or if you go watch someone else play it or whatever, or you play it yourself, it hit me the inherent problem with the reason why I didn't feel invested in this story, and the reason why I was like, this is stupid, is because they introduced a new character to save Zoe, who is this girl who has been taking care of herself the entire damn time. She don't need fucking anyone, right?
Mm.
And eventually, in order to beat the final boss, you get this like fucking giant-ass gauntlet, this robo gauntlet that you fight with.
Oh, God.
So, yeah. My question to the devs and to everyone else involved, if it's called End of Zoe, why didn't the story revolve around Zoe slowly transforming into the Crystal Woman, and over time, she gets powers because she's becoming this monster, and at the end, when she fights off against the bad guy, not only would it make more sense because of who the bad guy is, but when she fights off versus the bad guy being like, now I'm full powered and like the only way I can save myself is by accepting. Like there's so many cool potential things there for a story of this girl like beating the shit out of monsters. Like, because I think I understand why Gerard and Davis like got so into it, is because there's like a weird catharsis of running for a year of expansions worth of this game terrorizing you, and now you literally can like one-shot guys by punching them in the face. And I feel like I understand that, and Alex and I were like, what the hell? But I think it would be more cathartic if you played as Zoe, who her whole life living there has been shit, and she now is like, and just starts destroying people, rather than this guy who literally comes out of fucking nowhere. He's like, I'm the brother of the guy from the main game, and I'm here. Zoe's like, Zoe, I gotta save Zoe. It's like, what?
Why?
It's impossible to care about a character that's introduced
it kind
so
of,
quickly.
Not the story, but that like the missing potential kind of reminds me of. Did you ever play Outlast 2?
I didn't, but Jesse did.
I watched people play it.
Outlast 2 has that same feeling of like massive story potential all dropped because they couldn't decide if they wanted to tell this weird like elementary abuse story or cult living in the woods story. So they tried to tell them both, and they both fell apart.
Well, I think Outlast. The problem with Outlast 2 is that you're right. It had the cult story. It had the weird like baby killing story. It had the story about the other cult, the cult that was like there's one cult that's trying to prevent the end of the world, but they're doing it through crazy shit, and the other one's trying to make the end of the world, and
they're trying to tie it into Outlast 1 in some way.
Yeah, and then you have the science facility that's like, well, the reason really why all these people are going crazy, science, and there's all these fucking things that are involved in this game, and it's like, there might be too much happening here. Like,
I wish Outlast, not to derail it, but I have such like a gripe with Outlast 2 because I loved Outlast 1.
I agree.
And I wish Outlast 2 went like the Final Fantasy route where it's like Outlast 2, but it has nothing to do with any of the first Outlast games. And I would have loved it if you had played like my dream Outlast 2 after I haven't played it would have been you play as the little boy in the school and you're playing through the elementary school, and the more he's realizing these weird abusive horrors that are happening, the more his mind is going like imagining monsters and stuff, and this monster that's chasing you all through school might have been the priest, but he pictures him as this monster that's chasing him through school and stuff.
Well, I understand how they tried to connect the stories about like the character you're playing and what happened to him in the past and how it relates to what's going on with him mentally in the future. Like I get all of that. The problem is because the two elements are so insanely separate.
Right, that's the issue, yeah.
And like appearance and vibe and feel, it's like they took two incredible ideas for a game, like one very gross and creepy and nasty, and one that's genuinely a horror game with an element to it that's like, oh my god, this is like dark and topical and weird, and there's like two entirely different horror game genres, cram them together, and we're like, go, enjoy.
With the shitty gameplay mechanics of just Outlast.
Yeah.
And bad AI. And
I think Outlast 2 really showed the problems with Outlast 1, which is that after the scares at a certain point,
yes,
it literally becomes, how do I get past this monster in the douchiest, sneakiest way possible? Because Like,
you just learn like all the exploits. Like, okay, the monsters can't jump over tables, but I can. So let me jump over this table. He's gonna go the long way around, and then I'll jump back over and just go right by him, like that kind of thing.
Is Outlast 2 worse than Evil Within 2? Yeah. Oh, Evil Within 2 is way better than Evil Within 1.
Evil Within 2 is great.
Evil Within 2 is crazy and fun and campy and weird and scary.
Yes.
There's moments in it that you're just like, what? When
It's
that
so good.
ghost woman shows up randomly, like there's so much cool stuff.
When you hear her humming, and then all of a sudden you're like warped into this other world.
When Lana Del Rey shows up, she's my favorite character. Every time she shows up, Alex and I are like, Lana Del Rey? She's like, we're like, it's Lana Del Rey. What's she doing here?
When you discover her for the first time in that haunted house, and you're like, what is going on? And then she starts chasing you, and now she's in the world. You're like, oh,
Dude,
fuck.
There was one time, I think I've said this before on this podcast, but there was one time, it might have been the scariest moment in any video game I've ever played, when Alex and I were looking for a, like, bullets or something. We were tracking down a location that you get on the radio receiver.
Yeah.
We end up in a little cabin. We go in the cabin, we look around, there's nothing, the door locks, and all of a sudden we hear, and we're like, because the whole point is the only way to get away from her is to run. Like, you can't defeat her. And we're locked in a room. And we know at this point she can walk through walls. And we're like, this is so unfair. We're just going to die. This is so dumb. And the door starts shaking. And the wall, everything starts shaking. And then she just like, and vanishes. And I was like, the game just got us. The game just got us. It was so good.
I remember you telling that story. Yeah.
It was so good.
The Evil Within 1 was like meh to bad. It was relatively rough. But man, Evil Within 2, they just like, they knew what to go for and they nailed it.
Yeah, the story is just as silly and weird, even more weirder. Like, it's like, wait, none of this makes any goddamn sense. But because the scares are so insane and intense and weird, and the premise of, well, for the first, no spoils on the story of the game, but the killer that you're first introduced to is the guy who freezes time when he kills someone, and so their death, the moment of their death is captured over and over and over again in like slow-mo, and it's fucking bizarre because the amount of blood and like how ridiculous people die like there's some moments you're walking to a room and there'll be just a dude like falling off a balcony, like his chest exploded, but it's all like slow. It like keeps going through the entire time you're there. It's awesome. Like, I love what they've done with it. It's
sounds
really
pretty
cool.
metal.
Going back to Outlast 2.
Yeah.
Do you guys feel like what went wrong with Outlast 2 is that they felt like, because the DLC sort of escalated the what the fuck factor of Outlast 1, right? Like, the Outlast 1 DLC was kind of like,
What was the Outlast? The Outlast 1 DLC was the reporter going in to dig up
the
information.
guy who wanted to cut off people's dicks and turn them into wives.
Right.
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I forgot about. I thought you meant like story wise and the telling of the story. You meant the bizarre, gross, like we're gonna try and make it shock factor. Gotcha.
Yeah, I'm wondering if like what went wrong with Outlast 2 is they had these ideas and they were like, which one is going to be the escalation? And neither of them felt like they escalated it enough.
Yeah. So how to describe this? Outlast 1. There was a crazy doctor because it was in an insane asylum.
Sorry, chat.
Dickwine? What?
No.
So
The first I'm hearing about it.
How do I even describe this? Outlast 1, there was a crazy like Outlast 1 was about sneaking through this insane asylum, and then everyone in the insane asylum was like part of something bigger. No spoils, but in Outlast 1, you had the two naked brothers who just had their dicks out the entire time when they're chasing you. And people were like, well, that's silly. And then eventually get to a doctor who the doctor's like, I'm going to torture you for a while. He like cuts off your fucking hand or fingers or some shit.
Yeah.
And so that's pretty gross. And then so in Outlast 2, they introduce you, or Outlast 1.5, or whatever the DLC is, they introduce you to a guy who's like, hey, I cut off dudes' dicks and bang the hole. And you're like, what? And so that's a crazy, because I guess it's still in the insane asylum, and that's one of the insane people in there. And so there's a scene where they tie you down, and the guy's like, I'm going to cut your dick off and bang the hole. Like, it's happening in front of you in first person. It's weird. It's crazy. I think you're right. They said, okay, what can we do for Outlast 2? Let's have
how do we escalate from there?
Yeah, like they instead of leaning on how can we make it scarier, they're like, how can we make this more shocking?
Yeah, and so the parts that aren't in the school are like pits of dead babies and fucking like people strung up and like crazy shit. It's just like, what?
Yeah.
Meanwhile, the school part is fascinating. It might be the most fascinating part of a horror game I've ever played, ever.
Because what's so great about the school part is because you're so detached from the insanity of the little town. You're in this clean-cut, like, Catholic school, and there's one monster.
Yep.
One. And he's fucking weird. And what his, like, if you get a clear look at his model, like, if you're into that kind of, like, theory crafting thing, like what he represents and the way he's built and the way he looks all means something.
Right.
And like, that's fucking awesome.
Also,
and then you go,
sometimes he's invisible, which is fascinating. So like you can't see him, so you just have to hear him and try to like outrun him. And the scene in the bathroom is incredible.
Yes. The bathroom scene is super good.
But the idea that when you're in the school, you are straight up just like doing hangman puzzles and how it relates to what's it's fascinating. Like that alone as a standalone moment, if they just made a game of that, even if it was like 2 hours long, that would be maybe the best horror game made in a long time. It's so good. And then automatically you flash back to like, oh, that's right. I'm in this end of the world scenario where there's like
a weird priest,
like a guy, like a mud man who is trying to have sex with me to bring about the end of the world.
and his right hand woman super soldier.
Yeah, like this bizarre weird shit. And you're like, what? Yeah, I don't know how I felt about. I was not pleased with Outlast 2 at all.
80% of the game.
And I think that's my problem with a lot of horror games lately. Is they're just like either not horror or they're trying to go for like we want to really blow people's minds. And it's like I don't need my mind blown about. I would just want to be like scared for a good hour and then move on.
I wonder how much PT had to do with like shaping the modern first-person horror genre.
I wish they had taken more inspirations from PT.
Yeah, I think it's the exact opposite. I think
really,
yeah,
PT
definitely influenced Resident Evil 7. I think.
Right.
Oh yeah, for sure.
But PT, I think what PT did, and a lot of other games did, is PT opened up the world of first-person horror to be really, really spooky. But what I think a lot of people shied away from is that PT wasn't about jump scares or scaring you.
No, yeah.
PT was about the dread that around a corner something could be there, and sometimes something was there, and sometimes something wasn't.
Most of the time, it wasn't.
And
yeah, that's the scariest horror that
all in your
is
head.
the one you can't see. Yeah,
the closest game to that I've experienced so far was Layers of Fear. The way Layers of Fear played out, which was like it's mostly psychological. There's a lot going on, but most of it is not like nothing's happening. You're waiting for something to happen. But at the same time, most of what Layers of Fear was about blowing your mind with like, now look up. And it's like, the world's changed all. I don't know. I desperately wish there was more PT stuff. So we'll see.
As someone who doesn't, I don't play horror games, but I enjoy watching people play. I think one of the most entertaining ones for me to watch people play was the Alien Isolation game.
Loved that game.
That game was pretty neat. For me, like Outlast seemed like okay, that'd be a fun game to watch someone play. But when horror starts going into like the paranormal, like telekinesis, like the dude who gets in Outlast 1, he gets like thrown up in the air and like by a specter or whatever the hell it was, like that, like I instantly get taken out of like this isn't scary anymore because ghosts of course, or telekinesis powers or something like that. For me, like I think that it would be interesting. Outlast 2 to me, part of it was more interesting watching the school bits because it's like, it's in a setting that you can sort of relate to, because everyone usually is at one point been in some sort of school, it's for the most part anyway.
Can I pitch
it's
you guys?
Like grounded in realism, but not like too mystical.
I want to pitch you guys 2 ideas.
I'm ready.
And
okay.
So this past summer I went to a game developers conference and like talked with a bunch of devs who were working. I guess they had like little fun breakout sessions where it was create a game really quickly. It has to be something that's 2 hours, 3 hours long, and and like they didn't actually make it, but they like mapped it out like what the game was going to be. And they had to do they were given like cards, and it was like, here is what this game would be. The game is going to have this theme, and it needs to be this type, right? And so I went to this thing, and I watched stuff go down, and I realized, like, oh my god, I have so many good ideas for games. I'm going to pitch you 2 that I thought of in this session that are horror games.
All right.
The first one, Ancient Egypt.
Okay.
you are a like terrible bad person. And in ancient Egypt, for those who don't know, when you die, your soul is weighed, or I believe it's your heart is weighed against a feather. And if your heart is lighter than the feather, I guess you get to go to the afterlife. And if it's not, a giant alligator fucking just eats it, and then you cease to exist. Right? Like, you don't even get to die. You just are gone from existence. And that's supposed to be, like, worse than death. What if you, as a person, were standing there and you snatched your heart away because you didn't want to be judged and you went to go run, and the entire game is you being chased by, like, this
I'm into it.
alligator thing that is trying to kill you and eat you because, like, you refuse to give up your heart to be weighed? And, like, it's all supernatural and crazy, but, like, the alligator can come anywhere because it's not real. Like, it like can come out of a wall and get you, like, just fucking anytime, anywhere this thing can get you. I was like, all right. 2, horror game.
Idea.
Yeah, me too.
Horror game where you are trying to solve the mystery of Jack the Ripper, and he is stalking you while you were stalking him. Just put it out there. So it's set in, like, a Victorian period. It's not about ghosts. It's not about, like, ghoulies. It's you're trying to solve a mystery, but at the same time, this guy's trying to kill you as well. It could be any real murder story at all. It doesn't have to be Jack the Ripper, but the idea that, like, you're hunting a killer, and the killer's hunting you, but it's not paranormal. It's just, like, super
The interesting thing that could come from that one, I think, is what kind of gameplay mechanics could come out of that one. Like, the other one, I like the theme, and it seems like it could be a really kind of good horror game in a classic sense. But the theme of a hunter killing you while you're hunting the killer, that sounds like it'd be fun if done.
PUBG.
Yeah, it's PUBG, the single player game.
I've always thought that it was a neat concept, and Jesse sort of reminded me of it. I thought it'd be interesting to be the target of, like, it'd be like basically an Assassin's Creed game, except you're the target and you're trying to not get assassinated by, like, a professional assassin. It'd be first person and everything, and, you know, there'd be things you'd have to subtly pick up on, like if you hear the scrape of a footstep somewhere of an empty room that wasn't empty, something like that, where you would have to just sort of dodge down. I've always thought that was a neat mechanic.
I think that'd be a cool VR. Like, if VR gets
that'd be a great VR
enough,
game.
If like the game is called, like, VR Evil Millionaire, and you are literally just like
you're just Mr. Burns.
No, like, you play the role, like, it takes place at a party, a lavish, insane party that you, the evil millionaire, have thrown, and the whole premise is to survive the night. All you have to do is, like, go, but because you're an evil billionaire, you have to show up and, like, give your evil billionaire speech. And you have to, like, go and mingle with, like, the foreign dignitaries. And you have to, like, do all these different things to maintain the presence so that everything's under control. But at the same time, there is, like, a Bond character trying to kill you.
Right.
I think that'd be super cool.
Yeah. I like being the non-hero character sometimes. My ultimate game, if I could create a game, I would love for the player to be the citizen of an attack on, like, a city by, like, a giant kaiju monster or something like that. You have to escape, like, get out of the city or whatever, while something tries to deal with the monster, like a Godzilla type monster, and the scale is, like, really, really, really massive. And I think that would be really interesting, being able to try to, like, escape a city like that. I think that would be a fun. That could also be a VR game, I guess, but I don't know if I'll ever own a VR system or not. I've always wanted something like that. And someone said, like, there's sort of a game like that with, I think it's called Earth Defense Force or something like that.
Yeah, EDF.
But that's more EDF, yeah.
Silly as hell.
That's why I looked at that and I was like, yeah, but I kind of want it to be more serious, almost like a Cloverfield sort of game, you know?
I would love, speaking of Cloverfield, like a Cloverfield Lane, like more games that are like escape rooms where like you are.
Cloverfield Lane.
That is a movie that, even depending on, it doesn't matter whether you like the end or not, the 99% of the movie up until the end is maybe one of the most phenomenal movies I've ever seen. Like, what a fantastic movie.
That film was
so good. John Goodman is...
He's such a good actor, man.
He is.
I want to see him in more stuff. That was such a good film.
I didn't see it, but I read the plot synopsis because I wasn't sure if I was going to see something.
The plot synopsis cannot do the movie justice. It is 99% about tension and like...
That's what I heard.
It's like what's outside versus what's inside, what's real, what's not. I think Cloverfield Lane is fantastic. Now, original Cloverfield I didn't give a shit about, but Cloverfield Lane is like
really. I love the first Cloverfield.
It gave me a headache. I was like,
okay, well, yeah, I guess if you get that sort of thing,
he couldn't watch it. He was like, I hear this movie's really good, but I can't watch it.
Yeah, no, I made like 20 minutes in. I was like, I have a headache, and I don't know that I care if any of these kids live, so I'm gonna pass on this one.
The only complaint, because I guess I'm lucky I don't get motion sickness or anything like that. The only complaint I would have for that is that they spent way too long in the first part of the movie where there's just no monster at all. Like way too long. Like I understand developing backstory, but I like 30 minutes of just early 20s getting ready to go off to their careers or whatever. It's like,
yeah,
you're not really sucking me in here. But then after all the action starts popping off, I mean, I really like Cloverfield, but I'm also a sucker for monster movies in general. So
well, I think the premise of creating a horror game, because the Resident Evil DLC where you played as Clancy Javis, best fake name ever.
Great name.
When you play as him in that escape room scenario, God, that's fucking fantastic. Like, because the idea, if you move anything or change anything, when the woman comes back in the room, she immediately notices. And so it's like, you have to be sneaky, you have to put stuff back, and you have to, I like the idea of a Cloverfield Lane scenario where it's like you're stuck in a bunker and you don't know why you're trying to get outside, but you know that inside is not safe either. And one person's saying, like, you can't go outside, and the other person's like, hey, everything's cool, like, everything's fine. And like, you have the two good cop, bad cop, but both of them want you to stay, and there's something weird going on, but if you mess around too much, they'll notice. Like, I think that's a fantastic idea for a horror game. And
but didn't RE7 sort of do that with the?
That's what I'm saying. But
she keeps you in the room. Like you can't disturb too many things, otherwise she'll know that you're trying to get out. Was that Resident Evil? Okay,
that's the escape room thing. Yeah.
That part was pretty neat. Yeah,
and I think more of that, like in a full-fledged game, like a game that sets up story and plot and mystery. I love that stuff. So the more of that, the better. I think that'd be super fun, and it allows for like max tension, which I think. The more I play scary games, the more I realize most of the terror is either from jump scares that you're not expecting, or the entire terrifying feeling of like, I just want to live. So like, I didn't save for like 25 minutes. I needed a save point. I just want to live. And then someone kills you. You're like, fuck. And I think that's it too. It's that terrifying, like, I just got to get through this. So,
where would you say that Slender the Arrival ranks on that? Because I thought that was generally a pretty intense game to watch you guys play. And it seemed like you guys were like really freaked out, especially when like things started going to like the mines and stuff. Like that was
Slender is a game that at the beginning, there's like the very first time he gets you, it's a jump scare, right? Because you don't know what to expect unless you've seen videos. But from that point on, Slender was never about the jump scare and the terror. Slender was about the fact that the more letters and notes you find, the more likely he's going to show up. So the further you progress in the game, it's less about the terror of like, oh, I don't want to jump scare. It's about knowing that in the background you're going to hear like, he's getting close. And so the fear is like, what's coming. But that's like, if you ever go watch those documentaries about like Jaws, for instance, or horror movies.
Yeah. It's
fascinating to literally hear them tell you like, look, if you go watch Jaws and take out the music, it's not nearly as scary. But when you hear in the background, like, Jaws is in the water somewhere, and Jaws is coming for you. But, like, you don't know where, but you know what's going to happen. And you're worried for the people on screen because he's in the area. And I think that's the same thing that happened with Slender.
People always say, it's the scariest horror is the one that you don't immediately show to people. You sort of have to make them imagine it and create it in their own mind or whatever.
Yeah.
The original Alien flick also did the same thing. It's like, I think it might even be close to an hour of just nothing. You don't see any alien at all. You get to see bits and previews, and then the first jump scare is right when the face hugger pops out because the idiot's looking right in the freaking egg. And then from there on out, like, you still only see bits and pieces of the xenomorph until towards the very end. And I think that those are, I see a lot of games trying to do that, but like sometimes they miss the mark if it's not done correctly. Like if the payoff isn't there.
Again, that's why the school bits of Outlast 2 were so good, because the monster even when the monster is on screen, he's usually obfuscated in some way, or he's like twitchy, and you can't get a good look at him. You can never get a good look at him unless you're doing video editing and you're like looking specific.
Right. But here's the thing. Here's like video editing, God bless it, kills every horror game I've ever played. We played like besides Outlast 2, which is once you see stuff you're like, "Oh, I know exactly what's going on," well before we like reach the end of recording. But like you figure, you're like, "Oh shit, editing tells me what's going on." But we played a game called Stories Untold, which is like originally it was a free to play game called a house something. I can't remember the name of it. But it was literally a game where you play a computer game in the game and the world around you gets really crazy and scary. And so Stories Untold is a collection of them done in like a very Stranger Things vibe. Even the logo looks like Stranger Things. And it's 4 stories. All of them are connected in some weird way and you don't know how. It wasn't until I started editing shit that things that a house abandoned, is the name of the game. When you see the flashes, because there's flashes that happen in the game. And,
and you can scrub frame by frame.
And you're like, what the fuck is that? That's like a weird-ass, like, alien monster? And it isn't until you are going through and editing stuff that you're like, oh, how do we not notice this? Like, this is what this is. Yeah, it's... editing ruins scares. I'll never forget. And I take full credit for this. And to the day I die, I'm going to take credit for this. Whenever the Final Fantasy VI CD came out for PlayStation. For those who don't remember, this is long ago. In 1996 or whenever it was,
so long ago.
When, and for many of you, you weren't even born. Bless your souls. When Final Fantasy VI first came out, there was a plot in that game that involved Shadow, the ninja, and people were just like, I wonder what that could mean. And there's like story things, there's things going on in the game that certain things are connected and stuff, right? It's like a mystery. It's a mystery that the Japanese devs at Squeenix did not answer at that time. Eventually, when the DVD came or CD came out, they had like cutscenes they put in this. Don't play the CD; it's terrible. It literally is a terrible version of that game. But they put cutscenes in it, and when the cutscenes played, there's one cutscene that features Shadow, and it's him running through this ghost train, and as he does, there are flashes. And years ago, in like 1999, y'all, like maybe 2000, I used to do AMVs. Like that was the first way I learned how to edit, was making anime music videos way back in the fucking day.
Nice.
I did a lot of them. And I did a Final Fantasy VI one because they had these new things, and so you could rip it from the CDs. And in that train scene, in the flashes, it isn't just a white flash. They literally, as I'm editing the video, they literally have confirmation of that fan theory that it existed for so long. And I was like, what? And so I started posting on the internet, like, guys, it's confirmed. Like, we were all, like, that kind of shit. And now it's just accepted canon that that's, like, the story. And I take full fucking credit that I edited that shit and was like, I discovered a secret. And I will never not accept credit for that. The internet is better off for what I did that day. Like, that is... Editing ruins shit. Don't ever edit, kids. Don't find someone else to edit. It will destroy your fantasies, and it'll just That's all I'll say.
Just start your own theory channel, Jesse.
Final
you
Fantasy
do that.
theory.
Yeah, there you go.
No. What if I don't?
Final Fantasy theory.
What if I don't ever start a theory channel?
There's not enough of them. I think you could profit out of that. I'm going to tell you what I think about theory channels and what I think about, like, years ago when Lost was on, I remember listening to a podcast, and the podcast was all Lost theories. And with every episode that happened, it was always the previous podcast was negated. Like, every episode that occurred was like, oh, well, all your theories were stupid and wrong. But you kept going back because, like, I wonder what they think about this next thing. Every time I look at theory videos and theory crafting, unless it's insane shit that, like, you know, can never be proven. So, like, 90% of MatPat's videos, where it's like, you can't prove any of this, and it's just him spitballing, but, like, people on the internet are like, well, it must be true because it can't be unproven.
most theory videos, especially Star Wars as of late, are just like, no, that's absolutely not true. Everything you just said is you have 90 videos about how Luke Skywalker is Rey's dad, and none of that, like, that's not a thing. You can't make that a thing. And
but if they do a side-by-side comparison and merge the two images in front of you, you can see the similarities between Rey and Luke on her nose.
My favorite was Darth Jar Jar, and then Snoke is
Jar Jar series.
Snoke is apparently Samuel L. Jackson somehow.
I heard Snoke is Samuel L. Jackson. I heard that he's Plagueis.
I still haven't seen Star Wars, by the way, so I don't know if you guys have or not.
Let me tell you something crazy. It doesn't matter what we would have said before this movie. Yeah. Nothing we could have thought would have ended up in this. Like, this movie is so far removed from everything I thought was going to be in it. There's no way any of the things that people thought could spoil the movie for you. It's impossible. It's impossible.
I'm looking forward to seeing it. I like Star Wars. I'm really trying hard to block out all the negativity and like the bad reviews.
I thought it was great. There's no bad review for me.
How long is
it? Good.
How long is it?
2.5 hours, maybe.
Okay.
I thought it was
half of the length of your podcast.
Yeah,
I thought it was great. I thought they took a lot of crazy.
They needed to. I don't want to get into it, but they needed to.
Agreed.
Sorry to bring up Star Wars. All right.
Yo, speaking of Star Wars, the DLC for fucking Battlefront 2 is like not terrible. It's the story they give you is like connected to the movies, and you're like, it all makes sense now. It's it's bizarre.
Did they add a pink Darth Vader yet in the game? Has that been added?
There's a mod. Somebody modded it.
Pink Darth
Did someone
Vader
really add a mod?
Yeah, someone added a pink Darth Vader
True
mod.
Vader.
That's hilarious. I don't know. Every time I watch Sohinki play Battlefront, I'm like, this looks like a game I can get into.
Dude, so Hinky will defend that game to the death.
He loves it.
Him and Schrader both. Both of them will talk about it on and on Twitter. I'm like, the game looks pretty cool. I'm sort of scared about how much of an advantage people get if they do the whole loot box thing.
Well, the loot box thing is taken. Microtransactions are taken out for now.
Oh, they're actually gone.
You can't spend money on them right now, but they are supposedly to return this month.
Yeah, I just don't. It's not something I'd ever play multiplayer of. I think the multiplayer is like, man. The other day we were waiting for the DLC to download, and so while we're sitting there, I was watching Davis play because he's like, oh, I guess I'll try it out. He got online, immediately got Kylo Ren, and was not dead the rest of the game. Just like flung people around, murdered them, and I don't think he knew what the hell he was doing.
Yeah.
But, like, the balance I still think is wacky as shit. I don't know.
It looked like it could be fun if you're a Star Wars fan. I'm sort of worried about it. But basically anything coming out, like, after Monster Hunter World just doesn't exist for me.
Yo, I'm so excited for that. That's going to be so good.
That's where all of my channels end.
It's on my
everything
calendar.
Leads to Monster Hunter World.
Down. It says Mon Hun release Friday the 26th. I'm ready.
Yep. We got to play together, Jesse. What's your Monster Hunter experience? I don't know how much you played.
The last one I played was the one right before the DS one, where I was not playing the DS.
You're talking about 4 Ultimate?
Yeah.
That's the one that most people played. Generations was my first Monster Hunter game for the DS, and I've been a huge fan ever since I started playing.
I have played a lot of Monster Hunter, the new coming out Monster Hunter. Like betas and like event things.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna tell you now what's gonna happen. I'm gonna play as Aloy. I'm gonna have daggers. I'm gonna have a little Mega Man cat with me, and y'all don't even know. People are gonna be dressed up in cool outfits and shit, and I'm just gonna be Aloy, Mega Man cat, daggers. Daggers are so much fun. You just get up on them and you go like.
You're talking about the dual blades? Yeah, dual blades felt really good. I thought the hammer felt really good as well from a mechanical standpoint. And I'm not a hammer user. I usually use charge blade, but I can't. Monster Hunter World is the first game that I can remember where I've actually bought into the hype, because normally, like, especially for people in new media, like, it's hard to for some people that I know anyway, it's like you don't buy into the whole hype fest. It's like, well, the game's not going to come out for like a year or two, so there's no reason getting excited for it. Monster Hunter World, I've been excited for since they announced it. I'm like, man, I'm counting the days, man. I'm
terrified of that week. Literally, Tuesday, Lost Sphere comes out, so that's like a stream I want to do because I loved I'm Setsuna. I thought that game was great. And then on the 24th, a day later, Inpatient comes out. So that's the prequel to Until Dawn. And then 2 days later, Monster Hunter comes out. Literally, that's like Hell Week.
It's a great week.
I don't know what to do. My brain will die. I will be dead.
Playing until it hits PC, so like a year from now.
No, it's going to be dropping in fall of 2018. They announced it for the Elder Dragon trailer.
Monster Hunter, just play it on PlayStation 4. Live your dream.
Don't you have a PS4, Mathas?
Yeah, but
just get it. What's your problem?
I'm not. I don't play it like it. I have a PS4, but I just don't play it enough.
Dude, I don't play it either. But I got my PS4 specifically for Neo when it came out, and then I was like, I didn't play it again until now. Now I'm like, I'm going through Bloodborne right now, and then I'm like, yeah, but everything ends with Monster Hunter. Like that's it. I know I'm going to buy it for PC.
Everything ends with Monster Hunter. That's it.
Monster Hunter World.
That's all.
All roads lead to Monster Hunter World.
With Monster Hunter.
Facts.
It's going to be great.
True.
I know Sam's jazzed for it. I mean, everyone is. I mean, it's going to be a big game. It's going to be a lot of fun. I can't wait. That's what we've been waiting for.
Yeah, it's going to be cool. I'm excited to see what like longevity wise goes on with it because I'm curious what people will end up like thinking about it a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks after the launch.
Did any of you end up playing Monster Hunter Stories, by the way, for the DS? I think I asked you about it a while ago, Duger. I don't know if you actually picked it up or not.
No, I don't. I really hate playing Monster Hunter games on handheld. So
yeah, I think the DS was pretty.
Well, Monster Hunter Stories was the Pokemon Monster Hunter, and that was my game of the year for 2017. It was really good. Yeah, if you like Pokemon games and you enjoy the aesthetics of Monster Hunter, like Monster Hunter Stories, it looks like it's packaged as like a kid's game, like a super like kindergarten's baby's first JRPG thing, but it's actually like incredible. I spent so much time in Monster Hunter Stories, man. And it seems like not a whole lot of people played it, and that's just a shame because it's so damn good. I mean, there's a whole breeding mechanic. It's the best Pokemon game I've ever played. It's not even Pokemon. I mean, if you're a fan of Monster Hunter and you need something to play while you're waiting for Monster Hunter World, just trust Sinvicta, get Monster Hunter Stories because it is just damn good.
Interesting. What if you
really good.
really dislike Pokemon games?
Damn.
Then you won't like it then.
Okay, great.
If you don't like Pokemon, you won't like Monster Hunter Stories.
Okay, cool.
But it's not like a third person action RPG though. It's all turn based and stuff. It's like I said, game of the year. It beat out Battle Brothers. It was good. Fired up about it.
Is there any other games that you guys have played
That's a great
before
game,
we wrap up this segment and move on to like other things? Is there anything that you guys have played that you can remember this week?
Slay the Spire. I've been playing a lot of that.
What is that?
It's basically it's sort of like a offline TCG where it's all PvE. So you've got two character classes right now. It's an early access, and the object is it's just a deck builder that you go up and you go up against mobs. Think sort of Hand of Fate, but minus the action. Way more card and deck building focused. Okay. There's like relics that you can get that will unlock different passives. If you die, it's a roguelike. So like if you die, you still gain experience that can unlock more progression in there. It's a lot of fun. It's the gameplay is a lot deeper than at face value. Once you realize that, there's ways you can trim your deck. There's like, there's other rare relics that you can unlock. There's some RNG, but a lot of it is controllable. It's not like Hearthstone and you're going through like a Hearthstone dungeon. And I wasn't expecting much of it out of it because when you look at it, it just looks like it's all a flat palette of colors, and it's kind of like, this looks like the animation is kind of janky. But if you sort of get past that, the gameplay is really, really good, and the card mechanics are very interesting. I recommend it. It's still in very early access, but it's worth playing. I mean, And Northern Lion's been playing it a lot. We've had a couple other people in the NLSS group, stream it and stuff, and it's a lot of fun. If you guys haven't tried it, it's worth your time.
Yeah, I've heard good things about that game, but I haven't tried it yet.
If you like deck builders and light Hearthstone mechanics, you'll like Slay the Spire. It's very good.
All right, well, I guess let's take a break, and we'll be back in a little bit to talk news and releases and all that good stuff. Stick around, y'all, and we will continue here in a moment. And now I'm going to go to a thing. There we go. And now everything's okay, and ad break. Oh, my goodness. Hello, everyone. We are back. Welcome back to the show. Dukes, what are you doing? What are you doing right now?
You've surprised me twice now.
I know, that's my goal. I'm trying to surprise you.
Surprise!
I'm gonna be reading manga.
You text flirting?
I'm reading Tower of God, which is a manhwa from Korea. It's very good.
What's
you can
a
find
manhwa?
it on Webtoons. Manga is the word if it's from Japan, and manhwa is the word if it's from Korea.
What about if it's from Taiwan? Spain?
Taiwa.
Maiwa?
Taiwa.
Taiwa? I'm trying to be serious here.
I don't know the answer.
And
I just had to
pretend
come
like
up
I'm
with something
interested
on the
in
fly.
manhwa. Manhwa sounds like the name of some sort of like magic
really
fruit.
Awesome wrestler.
Like a magic fruit that when you eat it, it gives you awesome powers. Like manhwa from God.
Yeah, I see. Yeah, I see where this is going.
Yeah. I like to level up my characters so they have max manhwa.
Might be the nerdiest thing said today.
I gotta get my characters up so the manhwa's very high. What?
Gotta power level my manhwa levels.
Yeah, my manhwa.
Yeah.
My
like it.
HP and my manhwa need to be max. I don't understand. I don't get the difference.
You should be a game designer, Jesse. You should just do this. Why are you not designing games?
I can't really say anything right now, but in like a month, I get to announce a game that I've been working on like for a while.
Ooh.
Dodger knows what it is.
Spill the beans, Dukes.
And by I've been working on it, I mean there's a whole bunch of really great people that have been doing it. And
there's a bunch of other people that have been making it.
And I just get a producer credit, so good for me. So that's going to happen.
I like it.
Here's
I
the
can't
thing.
wait.
Everyone knows what it is. And that's the thing. Everyone knows what the game is. They've seen it before. But I can't spill the beans yet.
Was it like you dressed as a May cosplay, walking around BlizzCon or something?
I wish that was the
Exactly what it
case.
Okay.
Point, click,
Unity
May.
Asset Flip the game. That's the name of it. Yeah, my new game, Unity Asset Flip. Coming
Yeah,
out
like
yeah,
it.
yeah.
this summer.
I think that's already out, actually.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, just throw a rock at any number of titles on the Steam or like early release, early access list, and you got it.
Absolutely. Oh my goodness. Okay, let's talk news. God, there's a lot of nonsense that happened this week that isn't really like interesting, but it's kind of like, okay, I guess that's where we're at. First off,
what do you got?
So first off, like, let's get incrementally more insane. So,
Okay.
as you know, CES is happening, and of course, besides robot dogs and like new VR systems and whatever,
Robot dogs.
I believe they've just started announcing like crazy 4K monitors and like things that you can like bigger, better. There's now an 8K TV. Someone tell me why there needs to be an 8K TV.
There doesn't.
Black Mirror.
Yeah, I did see the list about that. Yeah.
It is. There's so much stuff going on where we're just like. So for people who don't know, CES is the Consumer Electronics Show. It happens every year in Vegas in January. And every year people ask me if I'm going to go. And every year I tell them no, I went once and once was enough. Let me see if I can describe it to you. The time it might have changed since 4 years ago. But when I was there was a lot of really cool, interesting exhibits and things that, you know, you could go look at. There was one place I went to that was set up to resemble a GameStop. And when I went in there, I was looking around. I was like, oh, my God, they have a hard drive that I've always wanted. And I looked at the guy and was like, can I buy this here? And he's like, no, sir, it's all for show. And I was like, what? All right,
Why?
Fuck me for wanting to like instantly buy this thing. And he's like, sorry, sir, it's all for show. And I was like, all right. But the vast majority of what I saw at the time was maybe 1 or 2 convention halls filled with interesting exhibits, and then 1 giant convention hall filled with phone accessories. Everything from cases to little like doodle dangles to like everything was phone related. There might have been several thousand people just showing off phone cases. And I was just like, what?
That's what the consumers want, Jesse.
It is the Consumer Electronics Show.
That's true.
But it takes place in Vegas, and everyone during the day is like, come look at our thing. It's pretty interesting. That night is like, I guess we'll get drunk and buy prostitutes. I guess that's what I assume that's what happens. I assume that's what happens because everyone there that I talked to seemed like the kind of guy. There were a lot of like douchey businessmen is kind of what I'm getting at. A lot of them. I know there are a lot of people who go there because they're in like the tech world, but the vast majority of people are on the like business side of stuff, and they were just like, hey, we're down for the week, let's get crazy tonight, fellas. Oh, I hated it. It reminded me.
So what E3 was like 3 or 4 years ago.
E3 at least is gaming related. This isn't even that.
True.
90% of this is like I mean, it's cool stuff, but it's not like, I don't think it's super entertaining. Like there's fascinating things like Honda is showing off their motorcycle that self-balances. So literally it will not ever fall over is sort of the gimmick there, which might be the first time that I'll ever get on a motorcycle where I don't feel like I'll instantly fall over.
We just tip over.
Yeah.
So I'm looking at like, there's a list of, this was by USA Today, just because I just Googled to see what like the hot new gadgets were. And they've got a list of 6 new, I guess, things that you could use this year, whatever. One of them is like a gadget that tells you if like meat is bad or if you have a fake pill. It also scans counterfeit pills. If you guys will allow me, I can read the slight little blurb here. It says, if you ever had food poisoning, which is 1 in every 6 of us according to the CDC, you want this gadget. The Link Square is a magic marker size scanner that can tell if meat is rotten. Think salmonella, E. coli, norovirus, whether alcohol is fake, prescription pills are what they're supposed to be. It can even tell like if money is supposed to be counterfeit. It pairs with an app on your phone, and there's a lot more features to come.
That's like stuff like that. That's fascinating. Yeah,
that's nuts. Yeah. And you could buy it. You could buy it right now. Apparently,
I like how the two. Like, that to me is super fascinating. I don't know that I'd ever use it or want to know. Like, right. I don't know that I want to go in. Like,
that's what I was thinking.
Obliviously. But I also think it's fascinating that between that, the other big thing people are talking about, like, is like NVIDIA has a 4K TV that's cheap. Like, people are really obsessed over that. How much is that even going to cost? Like, a TV for gaming? Like, that's crazy to me.
I don't know if anyone's ever tried like to play games on a large TV. It's not actually all that great. Well, because you have to stand like so far back from it, like it's not enjoyable. I don't know.
It has to do with the type of game for sure.
Right.
I hate playing like first person games on a really big screen because I'm like, I don't feel like I can see everything very well.
Like I tried playing the corners of the screen.
I tried playing StarCraft. I've got a 46-inch flat screen over here, and like I've tried playing StarCraft on it. I'm like, it's just not possible. Well, I have to sit so far back. Like I would rather have a 21-inch monitor, rather than like a 50-inch TV. You know?
Are you saying that like? Because I haven't really read the story, but I've just seen all the articles saying like NVIDIA's got a new TV and it's 4K and is it so you can hook your computer up to it, or are they going to try and sell it as like a console thing?
I don't know why they would go for consoles.
Because console doesn't make any sense, right? So the whole premise is you have to hook up your computer because it has G-Sync, so it's going to work with your NVIDIA graphics card.
Yeah.
But yeah, like...
Who gives a shit?
You're absolutely right. Every time I've ever seen anyone go huge on a monitor, it never ends up looking good. Like 27, I feel like is almost bordering on like if you get to like over 30, it's too much.
It's a TV at that point. I mean, you can't. I don't know. For me personally, I don't understand the logistics of why you would ever want to play on a big screen. I guess in sort of like in an ironic way, yeah, console gaming maybe for like a football game or like any like a racing game or something like that could work.
Well, here's the thing. I mean, none of us have seen like. Maybe NVIDIA is trying to make that TV that's like, this is the TV, this is the time that we made a TV that like goes against everything you know. And that could be possible here. This could be the one where we're like, holy shit, the game has changed. 27's too small now. I gotta have a giant wall-mounted PC. Like, maybe this is the moment. Who knows? I have no clue. But
I don't know anyone who uses 4K, like who uses the 4K resolution to play games. At least not for like YouTube and stuff.
I would 100. Right now, my monitors I have are what's above 1080? Whatever the one is right above 1080.
You 1440?
1440, yeah.
Yeah.
I have a 2560 by 1440.
That's what it is. 2560 is what I have. Yeah. So
that's what I have too.
If I didn't have to worry about the fact that rendering out in Adobe or whatever is so taxing that I could just pound out videos at that size, I'd be fine. But right now, 1080 is like easy to do and it's faster. But I can record in that size. Most games come in that size. Like everything, the resolution works. It seems really well when I play stuff. I just, I find myself just downsizing everything and uploading it that way because it's just easier to render. But the moment it is no longer an issue, I'm bumping it up because I think it looks better. I like the way it looks when it's that big. Sometimes text, especially in like Civilization or games where there's small text on the screen, shrinks down to the point where it becomes a pain in the ass for a video viewer to see it.
Yeah.
But other than that, I would totally bump stuff up because it just looks cooler. Like it looks better. So
it just sort of feels like the display technology is moving further and further away with like not a lot of like, because I still can't even name you 3 games that are compatible with 4K right now.
What is like cable resolution? Not that I like the other day my mom was talking about how she wanted to get a new TV and she's like, they have a 4K TV at Best Buy that I could go get. And I was like, Mom, why do you need 4K? Like you don't have Blu-rays, like all you have is cable. So what about a 4K TV do you need? She's like, well, in the future, I'm like, oh my God. What? Like,
it'll be cheaper in the future.
Yeah, there'll be cheaper, better ones in the future.
Yeah.
I just don't.
If you're asking
TVs now are at a price where 1080p TVs were like 5 years ago. They're starting to come down. Wait,
my dad just got a 4K TV. He was like, this looks terrible. I was like, well, you have to. It's not all about like just because you buy a 4K TV doesn't mean that everything's in 4K. It comes down to the source signal, like so. Yeah. In order for me to show him what he saw in the store, it's a smart TV, so I had to go to YouTube and look up 4K videos. I was like, this is the type of signal that you want. Everything that's broadcast, at least in our neck of the woods, is usually 1080p, 1080 around there. Sometimes the standard definition goes to like 720 or like 480, but that looks terrible.
Yeah,
but generally speaking, it's usually it's either 720 or 1080.
My apartment complex has cable just like in it, and every time I turn on to see what's on TV, my TV is it's 2012 maybe, but it's just a normal 1080p TV, but it has like 120 megahertz or whatever, and so everything looks a little more like it's like a soap opera. Like it has that sort of like soap opera vibe.
Yeah,
especially when you watch like The Hobbit, you're like, this was filmed on a set and these guys are like actors and not characters. It's bizarre looking. But when it comes to cable, you really notice a shitty signal. Like,
yes,
it is all, every time there's any sort of fast motion in a movie, it looks like garbage. But the minute I turn on Netflix or any like streaming service, perfectly fine. Everything looks great. But yeah, it sucks because you're like, God, this is, how do you as a consumer justify getting a 4K TV when you're just using like satellite or cable?
Or an 8K TV.
8K
or an 8K TV. Yeah, exactly. It's like, there's like everything, all the media hasn't caught up to the fact. Like we have
you'd have to custom build a PC to run everything at 4K and a decent frame rate, for Christ's sake. Yeah. And it'd have to be expensive. It'd have to be a pretty expensive build.
And I mean, what are you gonna? It's untenable for like if you just decide, yeah, I'm just gonna do YouTube videos and I'm just gonna record at 4K because it takes the file sizes, as Jesse was talking about, are ridiculous, especially if you're doing any post production on them.
Well, God, recording in 4K, unless your computer can handle recording and running the game at 4K, is going to stop your computer.
Basically, no one in the world but TB. Basically,
but even then,
he's the only person.
It doesn't make sense to do it though. Like to create a video.
Yeah, because people
4K.
you don't have, most people don't have 4K monitors anyway.
Here's like
or TVs, so it's like it's kind of a waste.
Cox and Crendor animations. The way we get the videos from Dan is it literally is like you can. It's 4K. Like if you go look at Cox and Crendor, if you go on YouTube, you can scroll all the way up to 4K. So everything's built in it to make it available. The problem is that the like Cox and Crendor videos are 2 minutes long. So rendering out and creating that's fine. But if you made a 15, 20, 30-minute video, your computer would start exploding and sparking. It's impossible to do that with, the technology that we have at the moment, unless you were literally going top of the line. And even then, it's insane. I don't know why anyone would do that.
I don't care about the Christmas in my games that much. All I care about is it, first off, is it fun? And secondly, does it look halfway decent? Is anything muddied or anything like that? I mean, I'm not talking about videos. I'm just saying in general, I think that Bloodborne's 2 or 3 years old now. I think that game still looks fine.
Yeah.
That sort of clarity is good enough. And I think that I'm playing that at 1080. So, on whatever the PS4 Pro is. And I don't need anything clearer than that.
Well, I think the idea of a TV that is a gamer-centric TV is they've done it in the past, but it's been just for consoles. I think the idea of trying something that is you're going to hook your PC up to this thing, it could be interesting. I mean, I would love to know what it's like. NVIDIA, if you ever want to just send one to the office, we got a bunch of gamers here who'd love to test it out. But yeah, I'm fascinated by it. I'd love to know how it ends up, but I don't know that it's needed.
TV would be just going off right now talking about his frame rates. They need. I can't do a TV impersonation, but they need to be at least a certain refresh rate. They need to be a certain. Yeah, that sounds like TV.
60, 59, 59, 59, 59.
Yeah, there they go. Chat's got it. There we go.
It supports G-Sync. That's true. Hands power. It's my old buddy Han. Yeah,
maybe it's Hans.
No, it's definitely Han. Lando knew what was up. I just don't. Yeah, I don't know. I'm interested. I'm curious about that. What were the other things? You had a list of things that were at CES right now.
Yeah, so there's also there's a better display for a Google Assistant. There's something called eMerge or the Merge 6D OF Blaster, which is apparently it's like a combination of an app that you use on your smartphone and like a Nerf gun. So it's supposed to be VR but without any VR goggles or glasses, basically. And they put out this prototype render image of someone just taking 3 minutes in Photoshop of showing a purple sparkly gun that I guess you're supposed to be. It's sort of like an augmented reality where you go around shooting things and maybe it's PvP. I don't know. There's not a whole lot of information on that. They also have like a translator thing, which I thought that translator apps already existed. Like if you speak in something in a different language, it translates to whatever language you need it to be. So if someone's speaking to you in Spanish, you can just hold up the phone right to their mouth, and it comes out in English. But apparently there's one that's even faster now called Travis the Translator, apparently.
So
crazy.
I'm looking at a thing right now. God, I love CES. It's terrible, but the stuff that's there is fascinating. So right now, the main categories they have is the best things that are there. Apparently, there is something called the Fisker E-Motion, which is an electronic sedan coming in 2020 that has a fiberglass chassis. It can drive 400 miles on a battery, top speed 160 miles per hour. They're basically trying to be a Tesla killer.
Why would you need to go that fast?
Yeah, right.
Who knows? But it has butterfly doors, which just insane stuff. Then the next big thing is there's the self-driving Lyft cars where you type in where you want to go in an app in the car and it just drives you.
My dream right there. Somebody who just never talks to me on my ride.
I mean, like,
yeah, Uber was saying trying to build cars like that too.
Yeah,
here's your robot dog as well. So the Sony Aibo, Jesse.
Yeah. Apparently, people are in Vegas right now. The car is on the street in Vegas, and people are getting into these cars, testing it out. So, like, street ready, it looks like.
Vegas. That's like, there's a lot of people in Vegas.
A lot of crazy traffic, too. There, of course, is the Samsung Wall, which is a giant wall-sized TV, which is just like that Black Mirror episode. A wall-sized TV. It is basically, it has micro LEDs to make the picture quality bigger and brighter.
So you can turn your house into IMAX, basically.
Well, there's also a 65-inch rollable OLED
LG.
TV.
Yeah, I saw that. I did see that one. This is
the technology they had last year where you could bend and move and, like, warp the screen. So this year they're like, you can just roll it up and take it with you.
Yeah, you can roll it up like wrapping paper.
I want that tech. Let's have that happen already. That looks
right.
So cool.
Yeah, that sounds super neat.
Here, speaking of TV sizes, Samsung has a TV called the Wall. It's a 146 inch.
Yeah, that's
TV.
what I was just saying. The Wall,
ridiculous. Yeah. Like that is like, I'm looking at it now. Like it's. Why would you ever need a TV that big?
The next thing from Razer apparently is called Project Linda. And basically what it is it's a laptop where you can put your Razer phone into your laptop.
Okay.
It has a slot, so now your phone is part of your laptop.
And how does that help me?
Instead of having a touch...
That's what I'm with. Like,
instead of having like a trackball or something, or a touchpad, you would use your phone.
Your phone to
because that's what everyone wants to...
Yeah.
That's because...
Oh, I see. Yeah,
everyone's wanted to do that with their phone.
Trackpad if there's a mouse available.
There is. All right, you know what? Finally, something I need exists. It is useless, but God bless it, it's about time. The Foldymate laundry folding robot. Put your clothes into this machine, it will fold them for you and dispense them into a neat pile. I suck at folding clothes. This could be the single greatest invention.
When I travel, I don't even fold my clothes. I roll them into a tube. I do tubing.
I suck.
That's what they tell you to do anyway to save space.
That's what you're supposed to do.
Then I'm good.
Like I fold clothes and I'm like, all right, well that looks fine. And then I see the way like professional clothes folders fold clothes, and it's like tight and like. I need it. You
don't need your clothes to look nice when they're folded. You just need to be able to get them.
Dodger, what if I died? What if I died and then people came over and they were like, we got to get rid of those clothes. And they opened my drawers and it was gross in there. I would be a dead man, unable to defend myself. And that's what I'm going to say to you.
I would just die.
Jesse, nothing in your house would ever be gross because you're a germaphobe. So
but here's the thing.
The only thing that
people
if there's
would
somebody
talk.
in there who has the fucking laundry folding machine is going to be like, my laundry's better, and fuck that person because you're dead and you don't get.
I'm going to be that person. I want when I die, I want you to be like, God damn, his laundry was perfect, folded perfectly. Because I'm going to let if you die and I have to go through your shit. I'll be like, this is a fucking mess. I can't. No wonder she died. That's what I'm going to say.
She died because her laundry wasn't folded properly?
Yeah, that's what I'll be like.
God, it's all coming together.
Jesse, let's be real. In death, you wouldn't have time to worry about that. You'd be too busy running from an alligator, as we established
earlier. Hashtag best game ever. Yeah. There is so much crap.
This is something good for Sam? Those are the Vive Pro announced at CES.
Yes, the Vive Pro.
Yeah, there's a new version of the Vive. Yeah,
78% increased screen resolution, improved 3D audio and noise canceling headphones.
Wireless adapter.
Yeah, wireless transmitter sold separately.
I'll never get him out.
It'll be the wireless adapter that'll get me to dive into the Pro.
A lot of people have said that.
Yeah. All of you guys are missing the hottest product from CES 2018. Kohler's brand new Numi Intelligent Toilet. Does your toilet ever feel excluded from your smart home setup? Kohler's new top-of-the-line model delivers hands-free flushing, bidet cleansing, feet warming, air drying, odor control, music, a night light, and an automatic seat temperature management system.
What?
Plus, you can integrate it with Alexa and ask her to flush.
Alexa, flush my shit.
What the fuck? Give me a normal ass toilet. I don't
Sign
need
me
more
up.
shit to possibly go wrong with a toilet.
Here's your blank check, Kohler, please.
I can imagine the first thing goes wrong. It's like spewing water into your bathroom. Alexa, stop! And she's like,
"Are you about to?" Yeah,
the bidet gets turned up to like fire hose levels of pressure. It just fires you off there. I can see it happen. It's the dream come true.
Alexa, no, fuck you.
The house that I moved into, in the master bathroom, there is what's called a smart IQ toilet. And literally it's just like there's like a battery pack that flushes the toilet. It doesn't have a normal like flush. That's the only thing that's different about it. And the color of the light will change depending on what's wrong with the toilet, right? But here's the fun part: is every time something has gone wrong with the toilet, it turns a color that is not in the manual at all. like right now, it's bright fuchsia, and Sam and I are like, "What does that mean? It's supposed to be either red or blue. You're pink right now. What does that mean?" So I'm just saying, look, this toilet literally all it's supposed to do is flush with a battery. And this toilet that's being pitched right now sounds like hell.
In this office.
We've given the toilet a personality.
In this office, our bathroom suddenly had a bidet in it one day. And
who put that there?
I have no idea.
I went in there once and there was poop.
You think it was Gerard? Gerard did it?
It was Gerard. That's a Gerard thing to do.
I literally looked at it and was like, I don't know how to use this anymore. Because there's like a little like hoopty sticking out. And I'm like, I'm afraid I'm just going to poop on it. And
that's what I said, Jesse. I went in there yesterday and there was poop on it.
Oh no!
I have not used that bathroom. I either go upstairs. I can't. I'm afraid of it. It's like I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do anymore.
That it's gonna accidentally turn on and like traumatize.
I'm afraid a little knob's gonna end up my butt at some point. I'm terrified. I don't like it. It scares technology. I'm just letting you know. Toilet technology is frightening. Give me a bucket of water and some rolled up trees, and that's what I take it. Let's get old school with it. Toilet technology is frightening. It's too much.
Can you imagine having Alexa saying, "Alexa, flush," and then what would she say if there's a clog? Would she just keep trying to flush over and over again?
There's too much shit in there. Sinvicta.
Yeah. How do you explain this to the plumber?
I'm sorry, Sinvicta.
Alexa couldn't flush my poops.
Yeah.
That's all I know.
Yeah, I'm sorry.
Oh my god.
Yeah, technology. Terrifying.
So yeah, CES. There you go, everyone. The hottest new, the biggest story coming out of CES 2018 is Kohler's new Numi intelligent toilet.
And a folding machine, apparently.
And I like the play on word. It may be like Numi or something, but definitely New Me. I like the play on words there because it's definitely a whole new you after you sit down on this.
Gross.
It's not even a toilet. Gross. It's an experience.
Gross.
It's a complete otherworldly experience. You have
your feet
and the adjustable bidet setting. Alexa, bidet me.
People already don't leave the bathroom.
Yeah.
Like, people already go in there and just stay there for an hour if there's nobody to call them out. And like,
my God,
I feel like this toilet is going to be like the people who don't fall victim to the virtual world are going to just never leave the toilet, and humanity
so basically you're worried about Sam getting this and then never leaving.
Sam's already lost to the virtual world. I'm worried about myself.
I got you.
Stuck on this toilet and never leave.
I think Sam will wrench himself free from VR in a couple weeks when Monster Hunter hits.
Monster Hunter is going to pull a lot of people away from VR.
He's going to try and find a way to play it in VR. Play both at
he's
once.
He's going to be like, it's so real! And he's fighting a monster in his office, knocking over monitors. And
Yep.
That'd be so good.
I can't wait for TB to watch this later and be like, I wonder what they talked about.
I can't wait to see what kind of game releases they were talking about, all video game related stuff. It's just all of us laughing.
Talking about the news. CES is relevant.
Yeah.
We've been
TB.
on point.
It's not our fault that we talked about bidets for too long.
Yeah, future TB.
It's all good. Is there any other news of importance that has happened? I don't know that there's anything really too terribly interesting.
Only thing that's semi gaming related is that Blizzard's they've launched they've announced that the Overwatch League will be starting I think tomorrow. So if anyone who's ever wanted to cross the fandom of football or professional sports teams but wished it was an Overwatch, you get it. 3 days a week, 4 days a week, something like that, up until June, I think, is when the playoffs start. So,
yeah, we'll see. We'll see if it's any. I mean,
I've watched a couple of Overwatch esport events, and I'm just like, it's still suffering from what we talked about on Roundtable a long time ago. There's just too many things going on for it to be interactive. Like that's where Counter-Strike really has an upper hand. Is just that like it's very. You don't have to see the bullets to see someone die, and you get to see the strategy. You don't have to worry about all the flashiness.
It's also slow.
Yeah, it's way slower as well.
Slower, especially FPS games. The slower the FPS is, the easier it is to follow. And Overwatch is fast paced, and so a lot of shit's going on. God bless them. I hope it works out, because if it doesn't, that's going to set back a lot of things for a lot of people.
I'm sure it will. I mean, Overwatch is still it's just a huge game, but. I don't know. I'll definitely tune in for the first couple days to see how it is, but I'll reserve judgment on that.
Yeah. I have a thing.
Yo, talk to us.
It's adjacent if you're into anime. Anime Strike is now included in Amazon Prime. So if you're somebody who's wanted to watch, Anime Strike was like a separate subscription service that Amazon had.
Oh, really?
So they were trying to basically do like Crunchyroll, but on the Amazon streaming service. So they like licensed all of these anime properties from the last season, and people were like, I have to pay another subscription. I already have Amazon Prime. What do you want from me? Right.
And I'm sure they have Crunchyroll too, you know?
Yeah.
So, so they finally made the decision to just loop that all in with Amazon Prime. So if you have Amazon Prime, you can access all of the anime
that's a smart move.
Got from last season. Yeah, I think it was a really smart.
I'm super excited. I won't ever use that, but like, shout out to people who will.
You could be watching Welcome to the Ballroom right now, seeing a boy learn about ballroom dancing.
I saw some trailer for there's some Godzilla anime that's only going to be on Netflix. That looked interesting.
The Godzilla anime.
Yeah, it's called Godzilla's something.
Slap fight.
I don't know, but apparently it's only on Netflix. And I'm like,
slap fight.
I gotta see it. It's Godzilla.
So let's talk about upcoming games. What do we have coming down the pipeline?
Oh yeah, fuck. I never got the link for that.
You didn't? I sent everyone the link. It's in the chat.
Dodger.
It's in this Zoom chat right here.
Yeah,
no, it's in
It should be in the Skype chat.
It's in the Skype chat.
Yeah, I can't use Skype right now.
Oh, right. Yeah, I'll link you. I got you.
How?
It's in Zoom chat.
How
now?
How do you not have the inability to use? Like, what is happening to you?
Every time I try to open it, I've uninstalled it and reinstalled it multiple times, and every time I try to open it, it says that Skype is already open.
Yeah, that happened. That
have you
and
ever
Cortana,
thought about like
which is cool.
Resetting your computer?
I just did.
So. Like you uninstalled
So, yeah, I have
and,
thought about it, and I followed through.
Like reformatting? Like you haven't like reformat?
Have you thought about getting a new computer?
Have you ever thought about like just quitting YouTube? Becoming a hermit somewhere?
I can't get Skype to work. I feel like I can live without Skype.
Have you ever just thought about never streaming again?
Whoa!
Have you ever thought about just like going to live in the woods?
Have you ever thought about buying an intelligent toilet dodger?
I already have one and it blows. So,
hopefully not literally.
What do we got?
Here we go.
What y'all doing?
All right, so there are a bunch of games on the list this week. Here's the problem. Having gone through many of them, I literally cannot find any that I'm like...
No, none of them are good.
Oh, they're all garb?
They're all garbo. Like next
they're all real bad.
A lot of them are asset flips, not going to lie.
So, I picked one.
Okay, talk to me.
And it's not even like because it looks good, because it looks terrible. But the trailer is great. And it's called Civil Warfare, Another Bullet in the War.
Okay.
Coming out January 15th.
Here's the problem. I don't have the technical prowess to do what TB does to like put the stuff in the stuff. But I'm going to try and look this up.
Then it's not going to be nearly as
No. What is this called?
Civil War, Another Bullet in the War. It is literally a PUBG clone. That's what it is.
Okay.
Is this like another brick in the wall, but like...
That's what I was thinking.
Right? Yeah. So it's just another PUBG clone, but the trailer and the music that plays builds up, and when the music finally like kind of lets loose, it's just like a dude driving a Jeep over a little hill, and it kind of like glitches a little bit.
I'm gonna try my hardest to like get this on the screen. This is
Mathis, I don't even
right
see
now.
this game on the list.
January 15th in
It's
green.
on the 15th.
Oh, there it is. Okay.
And that is why I picked it, because the trailer
that didn't work.
entertained me for a little bit. And there you go. I don't think I'm a mod in TB's chat.
I'm looking at the screen right now.
I'm gonna get this to work. So help me
It's
God.
going good. It seems like
It
it's
looks
going good.
great. It looks
I'm gonna
great.
get this to work. All right, and I'm gonna show people this god awful stupid. People are like, I can host my podcast.
Yeah.
Try and host a podcast. I double dog dare you. It's so hard. Here we go.
What?
First of all, I want to know why it's called Civil War.
Boom, done.
Yeah, it doesn't look like
It's
before.
because it's
All right,
gamer
and-
versus gamer.
Play.
Oh.
Nice.
Oh.
Like-
Whoa.
Good job, Jesse.
Yeah, we've done it. Oh my god, it's literally a clone. It's an
It is
actual.
just.
Can I take a
It's the-
second? Can I take a second? Is anyone else terribly disappointed that this game is not related to the actual American Civil War?
Yes.
No, that's
I
what I'm
am
saying.
like, what the fuck is this game about? It's literally just a PUBG clone, but called Civil War? Is it like
Yeah.
supposed to be like a new civil war is broken out in America, and now guys have to jump out of planes to fight against each other, brother against brother, jumping out of planes together in
on a
the Great
secluded
American
island.
Civil War. I'm so disappointed. I thought you literally meant it was a Civil War game in a
No,
PUBG setting
but like
where
No,
you
that'd
were
be
like,
great. That'd be so good.
you had one shot with your like rifle,
Yeah.
and then you had to like re-stuff it. I would be like, this is the greatest fucking game ever.
And it could be VR. It could be like VR chat where you like actually have to like make like your stuff in the musket and have to like reload it and stuff.
I was ready for something amazing. None of that
No,
is
it was
amazing.
straight disappointing. Like I said,
Nope.
there's only one part in that trailer that made me entertained. Like there's the Jeep going over like a hill, but it like kind of glitches a little
I
bit.
won't give it that time.
And the
I was
music's like,
I was expecting something awesome. I was let
No.
down. Brother versus brother. The
You
New
failed.
American Civil War.
You failed, Mathis. You
Oh,
failed.
I'm fine with that.
All
I
right,
could have
what else we
chosen
got?
Stunt Corgi VR, but
I have one.
Okay.
On January 11th, Rusty Lake Paradise comes out.
Oh my
Jesse
God,
and I
new
are
Rusty
big
Lake.
fans of Rusty Lake.
wait a minute. Wait, there are multiple Rusty
Oh
Lake.
my God, Rusty
Yeah.
Lake games are so good. On the 11th,
They're great.
I leave for PAX South on the 11th. Shit.
Fuck. So yeah, it looks just as bizarre.
Maybe it comes out on midnight on the 10th, and I can play it, and then
Oh, maybe.
upload a Fan Friday of it. And by Fan Friday, I mean the whole goddamn game. I love Rusty Lake games are so weird and bizarre. I'm not going to post a video of it because Rusty Lake, either you know it or you don't.
I
They've
don't
got-
know it. I've never heard of Rusty Lake.
What is this? They've got like a plague doctor. They've got like a
So the Rusty Lake games are point and click games, and they're like it's like weird puzzle solving. They all relate to the fact that there's this place called Rusty Lake, and it's bizarre and weird, and in some way every game's connected, but you don't necessarily know how. But in one of them, you were all animals at a hotel, and the premise is that you are serving one of the animals to the other animals every night. And
Yeah. So
Then
the
there's-
puzzle aspect of that one was that you have to like get into their room and somehow like kill them and cook
Damn.
them up for everybody else before anyone wakes up.
That's
and
crazy.
and then another one is the other one that we played. What was that? It was Rusty Lake.
It's the family one.
Yeah, where you were a family and
Like
you
the
lived on the edge of the
generational
lake, and you played. Literally, it was like a family tree. And every time you did something, it connected to the tree, and you like went and learned about the family as they sort of all were involved in this house next to the lake. And that one was connected to the animal one. And you're like, well, how can the animal people be connected? It's all like symbolism, like weird shit that it's all about apparently the story's all about a guy like going I don't know.
Sounds interesting.
This
It's
looks. I mean,
fascinating.
seeing all these people wearing these masks and stuff is just like it's unsettling.
Yeah, it's very
The
very
art in the
weird.
game really enhances the sort of the weird creepiness WTF factor.
That is pretty much what it is.
That's-
yeah.
That
Right.
will be a game that I will enjoy watching someone else play.
It is super fun. All right, what else do we have?
There's another one that I picked just for you called Sexy Serial Killer that comes out.
Boy.
Now I gotta look it up. Hold on. Sexy.
I picked one for him too.
You gotta
Sexy
look
serial
at
killer.
these good screenshots.
All right, here's the problem. When you type in sexy serial killer, not necessarily what you think you're gonna get.
You're gonna have to be real careful with typing that one up if you're gonna bring the screen up, Jesse.
Okay, so yeah, I am looking at it right now.
Oh my god. What the It's a she's like a Barbie doll.
She's shinier than I've ever seen a person.
Yeah.
The company that made this game is called Disturbing Excitement. I am Oh my god.
Have you seen the logo for the game?
Yeah, it's good. I like the dead guy face down on the
display
ground.
capture. Here we go. This is for the kids. Put on some music.
What is this?
Meet Fred. He hasn't had a date in 3 years. Tonight he will meet the girl of his dreams and his nightmares. This looks terrible. I want people to see. First off, they're playing the opening to Lost in the background.
What? Wait till you get to 26 seconds in.
Yeah, that's what I'm waiting for.
I can't.
God.
Man, they hover around this dude for a while. Oh, there we go.
Yeah, there it is.
Terrifying. Terrifying.
Jiggle physics.
And there's Jesse's desktop.
Yeah, there's my desktop. A lot of hardcore pornography on the desktop, as you can see.
Well, there's also coming out. There's
It's all there. It's all there.
On January 12th, I think. Yeah, Weed.
Weed?
All caps. WEED. Weed. It's just a sex anime match 3.
How?
I'm not going to play
The developer's name is Cute Anime Girls.
I mean,
it's literally the developer's name.
You woke up the kids. I didn't wake up the kids. That game with the boob lady woke up the kids. It's not I didn't know it was going to go. Like, I didn't know that was the noise that was going to happen when boobs jiggled at you. I didn't know. I had no idea.
Thank you, Mathas.
What is Sisters?
Terrifying.
A couple that I looked at that weren't direct asset flips. One of them was called The Last Berserker Endless War, which at first I thought looked pretty interesting because I was like, man, I'm a huge fan of One Finger Death Punch. But then after that, like it's just the same. It's nowhere near in depth as One Finger Death Punch is. It looks from what I can see anyway from that. And then the other one I picked up was the card game, the Heroes of Arzar, which looked kind of interesting. Yeah. It looks like a mobile. It almost looks a little bit like Slay the Spire mixed with Hearthstone, except it's got like an anime thing going on with it. But I may look at that one. It was the only ones that I couldn't find that weren't just an asset flip in Unity. It definitely was no sexy serial killer or whatever the heck.
I don't know that is a good game at all.
You can try it. Scary Game Squad. There you go, Jesse.
I'm gonna pass.
Hey.
I'm gonna pass.
On January 16th, there's a game called Anamorphine that's coming out that looks like it might be up our alley.
Anamorphine?
Anamorphine.
Yeah. It says, explore the past as you resolve the present, a surreal adventure of rendered emotions. Journey into the mind of the main character, a young man in denial as his subconscious...
Can you spell it differently from normal morphine?
Nope.
Anamorphine.
Oh, Anna, not
You
Annie.
probably...
Gotcha.
Anamorphine.
That'd be a great band name.
Whoa. All right. Looks kind of interesting.
Mm.
I don't get it, but sure.
I mean, how often do you truly get the games that you start playing?
You know what? You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right.
Her hair is so white.
It's just like a bizarre sequence of images, but that's cool. I'm afraid to literally play anything right now because of that damn game that I was expecting boobs and got. Yeah!
Well, you got boobs, though.
Yeah, but boobs with a terrified scream are not good boobs. Those are the kind of boobs you're like, you know what? Maybe I'm going to pass on these boobs.
But they're... no, you know what? I'm not even going to touch it. Yeah, we'll go with what Jesse said.
What else is coming out, Dodger? Anything good?
How dare you ruin my awkward silence? I wanted Sinvicta to wallow in that. To wallow in the fact that the last thing Sinvicta said was, I said boobs, and he goes, well, I'm not going to touch them. Oh, never mind.
I said that. I didn't say them. I said that. Go back, rewind it. You rewind it. I said that.
I am the host. I decide what you said.
Oh, okay.
I am
Sorry.
the host, and we will rewind only when I wish to rewind.
Only when I wish to, and then we will edit it.
If you can capture it. Yeah, there you go. It's no cream of the crop.
Cream of the crop. Yeah, any other games? I mean, is there anything worth our time right now?
That's everything that looked interesting to me, to be honest.
Cool beans.
And I went through very fast because
there's not a lot. Like there's not a lot of great games coming out. It's the beginning of the year. We're literally week number 2. No one's releasing games right now. I would simply say, like, you can get, like, I think Fury is now coming out to something.
Cool. Good game.
Hell yeah.
Yeah,
It's a
Fury's
great game.
on Switch. That's coming out. Switch is getting a lot of stuff. Super Meat Boy.
Yep.
And that's all on the 11th.
There's just so many games that are just straight up like asset flips. Like I'm looking, I mean, no disrespect, but there's a game called Maze Walker that like, it's like, okay, the title seems interesting. It's just like a one color.
You never need to explain to us about the shitty games that we've seen on this podcast. You never need to tell us, oh, this game looks like garbage. That is every week for us. We see so many games that are just like, I mean, it's awesome your attempt, like, good on you, game developer, for trying to, like, create a game and, like, be creative. But, you know, don't expect us to jump on your first game that's like, it's called Boob Slayer, and it's a sexy boob girl and kills people. Like, you know,
That sounds
awesome. Way to be creative. We love
I thought you were
but-
going to actually just be like, you were just going to be a boob and you're going around slashing things.
You know what? A boob with a giant boob with hands. Yeah.
I would also play that.
Yeah, it's a Dodger game for sure.
A VR boob.
VR boob. There you go.
I
With
have
real
a very good
physics.
reputation amongst my friends, I feel.
VR boob.
I'm really hoping that Ryan's first game, that because Northern Lion knows Unity now, he's a certified Unity developer. I really hope the first game that he puts out on Steam is like one of these awful games that you guys just happen to come across. I can't wait for that show. It'll still be Isaac related, I'm sure, though.
Maybe we'll do that. All right, let's wrap this bad boy up. Let's say our goodbyes. Sinvicta, what's happening with you this coming week? What are you doing, buddy?
Hey, everyone, you can find if you really love Isaac and you want to see the new Here's the Storm Hero Blaze coming out, I'm going to be doing a video later on today, probably maybe on stream.
Laser.
It's not Blazer, it's just Blaze.
Blazer.
Look, I'm not the one who named it, all right? But yeah, doing more heroes. The fourth season of my Darkest Dungeon season series will be kicking off within the next couple weeks. And if you want to see a lot of Monster Hunter World content coming up after the game comes out, you can go find that over at my YouTube channel, youtube.com/Sinvicta316. I stream Wednesday through Saturday, twitch.tv/Sinvicta. And my band also has a new song coming out that you can download for free, like all of my other music over at Sinvicta.bandcamp.com. And thanks to Dodger and Jesse for having me.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for coming on.
Yeah. Mathas, what's happening with you, my dude?
Hello. I will be at PAX South this weekend, so if you see me, say hello. You can find me over at my main channel at youtube.com/Judge MathasGames. I just did a top 10 games of 2017 video that came out a couple days ago. I play a bunch of old like retro PC games and talk about them on that channel and talk about collecting and all that other stuff. And then I have a Let's Play channel over at MathasGames, and then I do a weekly D&D show at twitch.tv/Lost Initiative Show. And then I stream a few times a week at twitch.tv/MathasGames. I'm pretty much all over the place.
Cool.
So find me.
Dukes, what's happening with you?
Hi, everybody. I'm back from England, and I'm not sick anymore, which is amazing. I just passed it on to my husband, like good wives do.
Good job.
Or me. I'm worried now. I'm worried. I spent
No,
a whole
you're
day with
fine.
you. I'm convinced
fine.
you're going to get me sick, and then I'm going to get everyone at PAX sick, and it's going to be your
You're
fault.
fine.
No, Sam caught it all. He took it all.
Yeah, he took all of it.
Yep.
Hi guys, I'm Dodger. You can find me at Dex Bonus on pretty much everything. Not as much goes up on my Press Heart channel anymore, but I did do Vlogmas during December if you would like to see those. And yeah, I'll be streaming Final Fantasy 14 right after this. Well, not right after this, but probably like a half an hour after this is over. So if you would like to watch my cousin and I play some Final Fantasy 14, come hang out at twitch.tv/dexbonus and check out my coffee company at dodgercoffeeco.com, please. That would be great.
Cool. All right. For me, CoxCon tickets just went on sale, so that's the thing that's happening already. We haven't even announced guests, so buy them. Buy those tickets. Who knows what's going to happen?
Surprise.
Yeah, it could be crazy. Yeah, a lot of stuff on the channel, but mostly headed to PAX South. There's going to be a Scary Game Squad panel on Saturday. It's going to be wild. I'm going to tell you the actual tweet that I wrote. Or not tweet, the message I wrote.
Okay.
Hey, Krendor, can you do me a favor? Pick out 3 horror games under $5. So we'll see what happens. That's going to be our panel. We'll see what games he chooses.
Good.
You're relying on Krendor to pick something for content.
3 games under $5. Could be a great panel. Could be an awful panel. We will find out together live.
God, I think I'll be there for that. I want to see that.
I'm ready for this train wreck. I can't wait.
We'll find out together. So, yeah, that's it for us on the podcast. Thank you so much for tuning in. TB hopefully will be back next week. We miss him and love him. And I know all of you out there do too, because we haven't stopped talking about it. And we will see you next time. Goodbye, everybody. Have a good one.
Bye.
See you later.
Oof. All right, let's end this thing. Now I got to end it professionally. There's a lot that goes into this. How does he do this? All right, bye, everybody. Get out of here.